Hello and welcome to MGP221. I'm Kev, and with me this week there is Sheepdog and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We have no Anna this week because she's poorly sick, so it's just the three of us and Dave, who is wandering around behind me and doesn't feel the need to sit down this week. So we might get guest appearances from Dave at various moments. How the devil are we all?
Splendid.
Well,
Yes, I'm alright. Can't complain.
Mark, well, you've been complaining for the last 20 minutes.
You have, to be fair.
You've been,
Grouchy.
because you've been showing me some absolute nonsense.
No, I've been showing you a piece of world-class technology that's going to take YouTube's
World-class?
hottest new channel, Never Too Old. You should check it out and subscribe to it. It's going to take that to a whole new level. It's a turntable.
You got a
My
cake
pop
stand.
vinyls. Huh?
You've got a cake stand, a
No,
glorified
I've
cake
got a
stand.
velvet turntable, so it can turn stuff while
Yeah.
sitting on velvet. I'm not going to. I've shown you two off air. I'm not going to show everyone else. If other people want to see pop vinyls turning really slowly with a little bit of a noise going on in the background, they have to check out my channel because it's exclusive to Never Too Old. The turntable.
Oh,
You're slightly broken inside, aren't you? You should have called it Broken Inside.
That'll be
Yeah.
what the next channel's called. I'll think of a reason to start another channel. I think daily vlogging is the next thing. Just wandering around with my camera all day, saying, "Here's me parking my car. Now I'm going to go into Tesco." I
haven't done that. Yeah.
I usually get a BLT, but today I'm thinking of chicken and stuffing, and I reckon that'll make me a global sensation.
I've got a question for you.
Go on, little fella.
How close is that mic to when you're speaking? Because you're saying get out of the way to some kids, and if someone said that to like
Oh,
a child
yeah.
of mine, I'd give you a slap.
Crikey, yeah, you say, wait, get out of the way. And I was just, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
do, you
How
want
cool.
do you want me to let you behind the curtain? There's rumours going around the internet that there might be voiceovers applied to that after I get home. Just rumours. I'm not confirming or denying any of that.
It's all fake.
It's not fake. There's rumours
The
that it
Illuminati.
might be edited for narrative.
Oh my word! I see.
I'm
Do you-
devastated now.
Yeah, you ruined the illusion.
That
That's it.
has killed it. I
Hang
don't
on.
want to watch anymore.
Hang on, unsubscribe. I'm
I
out.
was watching for the whole, I wonder who Kev's going to insult today. In the
Yeah,
Twitter.
it's not
That is-
always like that, but generally, if I'm being really insulting, I probably added that in afterwards.
Okay.
I'm not going to walk around a shop in London and say to a man really pleased with his Star Wars pop vinyls, "Oh, you've made a terrible mistake there, fella," and then have no reaction from him at all.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking, how
Well, that was
quiet
the
are you
thing.
to be?
Yeah, like the kid, when you went, get out of the way, stupid kid. And I just thought, like, he hasn't reacted, his parent hasn't reacted.
Yeah, most people have figured that out for themselves by now, but you two
No.
have never
I thought you were speaking very quietly with the mic right next to your mouth. That's what I was
well,
assuming.
well, I assumed it was like when I do experiments on the bus where I just act completely inhumane and see who reacts first, and no one ever does. Like if I just lay across the seats or take up two and or don't let people sit down, and I wait and see how long it would take for them to just ask for the seat, and they never do. I just assumed you were doing that. I wonder how many people I could insult before.
Well, I am going to Nottingham tomorrow to do another one, and maybe check out the MGPX venue. So I might try doing one live then. I mean, why not do that in the gun crime capital of the UK? Walk around there and just insult people to their face and
I
see what
didn't know
happens.
that. I didn't know that before we booked it.
Didn't you? Well, I wasn't going to tell you that, was I?
No,
People
it's a bit
have bought
late now.
tickets now.
It's a bit
Say,
late now.
just bring a gun. That's probably the safest thing.
Guns
don't
don't
say
kill
that.
people, rappers do.
Wabbits
Oh.
do.
Yeah.
Exactly. What language has the tweet gone out in this week, by the way?
I don't know. Quick one while we're in it,
We need
Stephen.
to know. We need to know what language we're broadcasting in today, because I assume it just all gets translated by the clever Google people.
Babblefish.
English.
Oh,
Wow.
so we have to do an
Back in
English
English.
podcast this week, do we? Rubbish.
Stephen Craig's in the chat. So he's watching it on the PS4. Finally, we made it to the big screen. There you go.
Hey. Well, at least we know this week then it is actually broadcasting.
Someone's actually in the
properly,
chat.
after
I know.
Pab ballsed it all up last week and we had to do two
Oh,
shows.
Look at me.
If you are any of the lovely folk watching live, if you make sure you get involved in the comments, stick a like on there straight away to start the episode up. We assume at this point you are going to like the show. And get involved. Let's have some interaction. Or you can tweet at us at MGUK Podcast and let us know what a happy hap is in your neck of the woods. Sheepdog,
Yes, sir.
you've become an internet star with this game you invented last week. It seems to have caught on.
Do you know what? I do feel a little bit like. Did you ever watch Doug when you were growing up?
What,
yeah.
Doug off of Neighbours with his ute?
No, Doug the cartoon.
No, I just watched Doug off of Neighbours in the ute.
So he used to always wear the same green jumper and shorts every day for his entire life. And one day that became the fashion in his town. And he was wandering around and everyone was wearing his suit. And he felt really out of place because everyone was wearing what he wore. And they all just thought he was really cool because he was wearing the cool clothes. Well, everyone's talking about Pokemon now like it's the coolest thing ever. And I'm sort of thinking, where were you a month ago when I was getting stabbed?
Have you had enough of it? Now it's mainstream.
I've not had enough.
You've gone
I'm loving
full
it.
hipster.
I'm absolutely thrilled, but I'm just a bit like, none of you people were with me when I was getting beaten down by the likes of Kev. You know,
To be fair, I still haven't seen any other grown men standing guarding a Pokemon gym wearing a Pokemon shirt. You're
You,
still
sir.
the only person I've seen do that.
you, sir, need to go to the business park where I work. So, just because we're going to get into this game now, first things first, it came out last Friday on the internet in what, Australia, and we got it. I played it all weekend like a maniac.
Because we're in Australia, for anyone wondering how we managed that.
And then Monday morning, I had my big toenail removed and couldn't walk for the rest of the week. So I have been crippled. But just before I went on my way into the doctor's, I got a 10-kilometre egg and stuck it in the incubator, thinking, "Oh yeah, that'll hatch." And yeah, it hatched today. But I haven't been able to walk all week. So not only have I been watching the whole world suddenly fall in love with Pokemon, but I haven't been able to roam the streets trying to catch them all.
You've been left behind then, I'm afraid, because whereas last weekend me and you were able to walk around all the gyms in our little locality and I had a Pokemon in every gym in the town, by Tuesday my Pokemon can't get in those gyms. Everyone's like level 800 now. It's ridiculous.
Well, so what happened is I've had a big bandage on my foot all week. So I've been catching Pokemon on my way in and my way out of work and from my desk. I have hang on, where's my Pokedex? I've caught 40 and seen 40 at the moment, which ain't too shabby, only 110, 111 to go. But, I mean, I keep seeing, I mean, obviously, because it's all being ramped up, Niantic was supposed to be releasing this staggered. So they'd set up some servers in Australia, let the Aussies on, get it all bedded in, and then move to America, let the Americans in, bed it in, go to Germany, bed them in, come to England, bed us in. But what actually happened was they released it in Australia, and we all just went, "Way!" and crashed it. And then they thought, "Oh, let's get America on board," and then we all went, "Hey!" And it just got worse and worse. And then by the time it actually came out here, everyone's a bit like, "Oh, it keeps crashing, it keeps crashing." But I've actually been in the app since 7 o'clock this morning, and it hasn't crashed today.
It has been a lot more stable since I've got the App Store version of it. Yesterday was it that came out?
Yeah, same here. Yeah. But I reckon if they were keeping track of people who've been logged in the most since the day it came out, it would still be me. Even though I've not got anywhere near as many Pokemon as most people, I've been logged in so much.
I had to have a couple of days off it earlier in the week because I rinsed all my data. I got a text from Vodafone on Monday saying your data ticks over in 3 days' time. You've used it all, you silly boy. So I had to have a couple of days off. Plus, it absolutely rinses my battery. Bear in mind, I've got the big boy phone that normally I get 2 days use of out of a full charge. A half a day playing Pokemon on it and it's dead. I can't live in a world where my phone runs out of battery at lunchtime.
Yeah, I've been leaving mine on charge with Pokemon Go on, just in case Pokemon come near my desk, and it's surprisingly effective. I
have had moments like that as the week has gone on because my school library is a poker shop or whatever it's called. What is it? What they called? Pokestop.
Pokestop.
School library is a Pokestop, and a couple of times a week I teach a lesson next to the library. So yeah, I've had some good days. Plus, loads of kids around. They slap a lure down before school, after school, lunchtime, break time. So I'm spending an awful lot of time in the library at the moment and catching a lot of marvellous Pokemon.
Going back to my having an operation. During the operation, the doctor's going to me, right, so
hang on. We can't be calling having your toe taken off an operation. Let's call it a procedure. Let's put it on the level where it's supposed to be.
okay, well, during the procedure, he's saying to me, don't walk on this for at least a day and a half. And I'm like, well, okay, but I do live around the corner, so I am going to walk home. And he was like, okay, well, you shouldn't really walk on it, but that he sort of said that won't be much of a problem. So it went really quickly. I was only in there an hour because it was a procedure, but anyway, wandering along the street, all bandaged up in my shoe. Thought, I passed the park on my way home. I'll go get some Pokeballs. Got into a fight with a wild Jinx, and I was just shocked because it was like level 400.
Who we used to go to uni with?
I don't know what you're on about. Oh yeah, Jinx, monkey, and caught it. Used all my Pokeballs on it. Caught it, and then limped home. Couldn't really feel my foot because it still had all the anaesthetic in it. Open the front door, take my shoe off. There is blood everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
So you've been involved in the most vicious Pokemon battle so far. That should have been a tweet.
I called the doctor, and they were like, "You shouldn't have walked on it." So I told them I live around the corner, and they were like, "Well, don't walk back. Get a lift." And I was like, "Okay," and then I just walked back. By the time I got back, there's blood in the street behind me where I'd been walking. That's how much blood was coming out of me. I sort of stood in the doorway going, I need someone to wheel me in because I can't walk on your carpet, I'll ruin it. I'm going to cover it in blood.
Were you not wearing a shoe?
I was wearing a shoe, but it was coming through the shoe. The shoe was covered in blood. I'd carried some flip-flops back with me, so when they changed my bandage, I just said, throw the shoes in the bin, just put some flip-flops on and walk back. Got a lift back because finally someone was available to drive me after all that. But they said to me, they were like, you said you only lived next door, and I was like, well, I did nip by the park, and they were like, why? And I just didn't have an answer. I just kind of said, oh no, I walked that way round or something like that. But it was purely to catch a Pokemon, and so people were saying to me I can't believe you basically bled out over catching a Pokemon. I was so dizzy by the time I got to the doctors, and I just kept thinking it was a level 450 Jinx. It's pretty powerful, to be fair. So I haven't fought any gyms or anything all week, and then this week, today, round the corner from my office, there are quite a few gyms in the business park, funnily enough, and quite a lot of Pokestops, but I've not been able to visit any of them. And I was saying at lunchtime, I'm getting fed up of basically I get in a car, someone takes me to work, I get out of the car, and I walk the 10 meters between my desk and the car or whatever.
That sounds like your ideal life.
Well, yeah, it does, but I'm fed up of it now. I've got it out of my system, especially when there's Pokemon about. So I was saying to my colleague, and she was like, well, why don't we just take a slow walk around the business park, and we'll try and hatch our eggs and catch a gym or something. So I walked out. This 10k egg that I've been sat with for 5 days hatched to an EV. I've got 6 EVs. I was so disappointed. To be fair, I evolved it into a Vaporeon. And it's
in that case.
619 and knows some good moves. I got a Flareon as well that's level something or other.
You're managing to take a media sensation that is hot and cool in the media at the moment and make it sound really geeky and awful. How are you managing that?
So anyway, I went to the gym. I took it first try. I was like, well, no, first try. I kind of got to 1 inch of health and kept dying, and then realised what I was doing wrong and did it. And I'm standing there chatting to my colleague, thinking, yeah, we've just took a gym, we're awesome. And then I heard these guys, these 2 grown men who are older than me, walked out. One of them went, there's a Flareon in there, which is what I just won it with. And then suddenly I could see that my gym was being taken over, and basically we stood one side of this entrance into this car park, just battling, and then we'd look up, and they'd be standing over there battling it back, and we stood there for about 15 minutes without actually acknowledging each other were there, just taking this gym back and forth to the point where we were like, oh shit, our break's finished, so we just walked back to work. And
did you actually come to proper human blows over it?
No, they just didn't acknowledge us at all. They just didn't even acknowledge that we were the people taking it off them. They kept putting really lame pitches in there, and then I just kept taking it back. I don't really understand what they were doing. It was bizarre, because what happens is
they were ranking up the gym.
But it goes, no, they weren't, because
if you have loads of battles, doesn't it rank up the gym and let you put more stuff in it or something? Did I read?
No, only if you're the same level. This was going between yellow and red.
Okay.
But if when you lose it, it goes grey for a second, and anyone can put one in. So what we started doing is I started battling them while my colleague stood, and she just stuck her Eevee in for a second while I potioned up my Jinx or whatever and stuck it in. But when I left, my Jinx was holding the fort, and they couldn't beat it. We got back to the office, and then like that was red team defeated. By the time I'd sat at my desk, blue team had just steamrolled me. It's ridiculous.
Can I point out this is on a business park where there's no kids around? This is just adults doing this.
This is just adults. It was awesome. A guy we know from uni, Nathan, he goes around with his dog round deep and just catching all the gyms, and then he works in the same business park.
He didn't have any yesterday when I was out and about. His name wasn't anywhere.
He runs the Facebook Team Instinct group for Peterborough. It makes me laugh that he's taking it so seriously.
What a loser.
But no, I'm still progressing with it. My kids were getting a bit frustrated that I hadn't taken them out at all this week because I've been limping. But
did you just show them your bloody shoe by the door?
Pretty much. They got why I couldn't. I mean, my daughter did 100 laps of the garden to try and help me hatch an egg. It didn't work. So
you need to get yourself a velvet turntable to put your phone on.
Mm-hmm. Well, it did work actually. It added a kilometre, but I ended up with 0.4 of a kilometre, 0.04 of a kilometre left, and it took me a day to travel that far by foot, which is what 40 metres.
Mm-hmm.
That's how limpy I've been.
No, it's 400 metres, 0.4 of a kilometre.
No, 0.04.
Okay, I'll allow it. Your maths checks out.
Good.
It's just in urgent breaking Pokemon news from Anna. Apparently, when you throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon and it misses, you can collect that Pokeball back up again if you're quick and click on it. There you go.
I don't think that's true, is it?
She showed me doing it earlier.
Wow.
So there you go. Breaking Pokemon news. I think she's up there doing it now.
Interesting. I didn't know you could do that.
Well, now you do know. Pab, I assume you're obsessed with this game as well.
No.
Why?
No, I find it.
Even I'm enjoying
tedious.
it, and I'm a miserable old man who doesn't play games.
Apparently, I'm more miserable because I'm not a big fan. I don't mind it, but I find myself thinking I could be playing an actual Pokemon game, which is what I did this week. I just went and got Pokemon Y out and just played that instead.
There's a lure on at the Pokestop near my house. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
A what?
Someone's got a lure out
A
down
lure?
the road. Oh, well done. I've got a Zubat. Let's have him. Oh, collect my Pokeball back in.
Live capture.
Yes, I did just collect my Pokeball back in. I can confirm you can do that.
Holy guacamole.
So
I tried to do that earlier and it didn't work. But my friends all live in London and they're just like, oh, my bag's full. I've got 500 Pokeballs. And I'm like, I have 4. 4 balls. I have 18 at the moment.
You want to get yourself teaching a lesson next to the library and you just stuck up on them all day. I've got loads. I'm doing all right. I've got 2 egg incubators. I've got loads of raspberries, a couple of modules. I'm going to sit at the park with my son tomorrow, stick a lure module on, unless there's already one there, and just go nuts. Splendid. So,
nice.
Pab, how do we convince you to play it?
You don't. I just don't see the point. I'd rather have my phone than have to play that game. I'd rather, because it just saps your battery. I nearly used all my data. There's no point. I'll just play it on my 3DS instead. So I played Pokemon Y most of the week. So that's what I did instead. It's all right. Like I say,
how many have you caught and seen, Kev?
Hold on, I'm still trying to catch this stupid bat. It's just flying around my kitchen like nobody's business. There you go. He's only level 10 as well. What a waste of time that was. It's cost me more Pokeballs.
Did you turn VR off your sense?
What?
If you turn what off?
That was a thing. Well, that saved my battery a bit as well.
Yeah, it will.
Oh, well done. I've earned a medal. I've caught 50 flying Pokemon, apparently. Well done. How do I tell you that information you just asked me for?
Pokedex.
I have captured 79. Hold on. No, I haven't. I've caught 18 and seen 18. I was looking on the wrong screen. Caught 18, seen 18.
1/8.
1/8, yeah.
You have 2 functioning feet.
Yeah, but I have a full-time job at a place where it's only ever the same 3 type of Pokemon that turn up.
Ooh, a wild Pidgey appeared. I was just about to tell you I never get any Pokemon in my house, and one just appeared.
Is that because you unplugged your microphone or whatever you've just done to make it go all crackly and horrible?
Yeah. I think your phone.
Is it better now?
I think you turn it off now because this is getting silly.
Is that right? Can you hear me now?
No, you've
No,
got
it's
a lot of interference going on, little fella. I think your phone's breaking it.
Just throw it.
Yeah, flush your phone down the toilet. There we go. Pab's camera's gone as well. Sheepdog's camera's gone. What's going on? Where
Is that
have
better?
you gone? Oh, I'm back. There you go.
Got
I can see
back,
myself again. That's fine.
Oh,
Can you hear
that's
me?
There's a lot of interference. I don't know what's
It is,
going on.
I don't know what's
I was
going
getting
on.
interference from you earlier on, Kev, when you were talking, but I just, because Pat weren't reacting to it, I just assumed you were fine.
Yeah,
That
okay.
sounds fine to me now.
People in the chat, let us know if you're getting the interference come through or if it's just us being fussy. Let's all turn off Pokemon and hopefully the
I
interference.
didn't. Yeah. Turn the Pokemon off for
Pab,
God's sake.
turn off Pokemon.
Well, I'm not on Wi-Fi, I'm on 4G.
It could still interfere though, couldn't it? Because it's all the radio waves and whatnot.
We all back then, yeah. I presume.
Yeah, I can see everybody again.
Yeah. Okay,
We're
good.
sorted. So, what other games are there that exist, or is this the only game in existence now because the media have gone cuckoo bananas for it?
Chat saying no
I think
interference,
it's the
sorry.
only game in existence.
It's not. There's plenty of games
there
out.
you go. We've had a tweet from the Woolster saying there's major interference with Sheepdog.
Yeah, Sheepdog is getting like
Sheepdog with
very
his Pokemon.
crackly.
He needs to turn Pokemon off. Everyone tweet at RB6K and tell him to turn off Pokemon because he's ruining the podcast.
It is off, it's off, it's off.
Unplug your mic and plug it back in again then.
It's a bit like the Smash robot.
Yeah. There you go. We'll let him figure it. What have you played this week? Well, Sheepdog sorts his microphone out, Pab. What have you done?
What have I done? I have done. Seeing as we didn't get a chance to go through stuff yet last week, I've pushed them all from last week as well. I've continued to play Overwatch. Still a great game. Still really bad at the game apparently because I'm dropping levels constantly now on competitive now. I'm now 38 now. I was 40, and I've dropped down 2 levels this week.
You don't look a day over 35.
Do I not?
No,
Well, no.
Sheepdog's gone now completely.
He's had enough. He's had it. Rage quit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
because he had the choice: carry on with the podcast or carry on playing Pokemon. So he's gone. We'll never see him again now.
I've had it. Yeah, that's it. Now he's gone for the. We won't see him for a while. He's back. There he is.
Oh, never mind, Dave.
He's back. What else have I played? I decided to go back to Super Hot this week because I felt like I was near the end of that, and I finished it. And that game is, if you haven't played Super Hot, if you get a chance to get Super Hot any way, shape, or form, yeah, I insist you play it. It is
See, I'm
genuinely
interested
good.
in it, but it costs too much for what it is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you just got it in the Steam sale, you wouldn't have felt as bad, would you?
Hmm.
Keep an eye out for it. It is genuinely a really good experience. It is a cool, clever game, interesting ideas, and the ending is kind of like messed up. It's weird, but that's Super Hot for you. It's a genuinely good game, and I would insist you, if you get a chance, give it a go. The other thing I've talked about last couple of weeks is Inside, and I finished that this week. At that game, similar to Super Hot, you need to play this game. If you liked Limbo, which I think you did, didn't you?
I did like Limbo.
Yeah, you need to play this.
I shall play this.
This game is, I mean, the ending will leave you going, what? Hey? What the hell just happened there? They're in a
Way to
genuine...
sell it to me. The
They're-
ending just confuses you and leaves you a little disappointed.
No, it doesn't leave you disappointed. It just leaves you with like more questions than answers, which I suppose that's a good thing in certain aspects. Yeah, it's like say 4 to 5 hours I think game, and it is like I say it makes it steps up every single thing about Limbo, graphics, gameplay, everything, the weird twists and stuff. And it's just genuinely cool game. It's out on Steam now as well as Xbox One, so yeah, you got no excuses really. Give it a go.
Well, I've got an excuse for another week. Once it's the summer holidays, then I have no excuses.
Ah, yeah, fair enough.
I think I'm back now, am I?
Yeah, you're back.
He's back.
You're back,
The reason it was doing it was I have WhatsApp on my Mac, and I think when people were messaging me on WhatsApp, well, my work colleagues were having a conversation, and I think it was interfering with. I didn't realise I left the app on, but when I closed it, it all went fine.
Cool. Cool.
So,
You and your pesky work colleagues talking about Pokemon like losers.
yeah, they were sending each other pictures of beer to say, have a good evening.
Huh.
See, do you want to send him a picture of my Coke Zero?
I already sent them
Or
a picture
as it's
of my
now
beer.
branded, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Is it really?
I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that is strange.
There you go. Even on the back, look, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. It's not Coke
That's-
Zero anymore.
That's weird. Oh well. Do you want me to carry on? Because I've got
Yeah,
loads of
I
stuff.
mean,
I can do more soft drink adverts if you
I
want.
was going to say I've not.
I've just drank my Vimto, so there's no Vimto
So
advert
you're
this week.
full of excitement, ready to
Full
talk
of
about
vim.
games.
Exactly. It's been a week where I've just been like, I don't know what I want to play. I'm just kind of like at a loss to play things. I went back to Guitar Hero Live this week.
Ooh, I've been tempted to do that. I got my guitar out, which I think is
Yeah.
behind me. There you go.
Yeah, there it
There's
is.
my guitar. I got it out. I didn't actually set it up though because I couldn't find the bit that you have to plug into the Xbox.
Oh right, yeah. So that could be an issue. Yeah, 'cause you kind of need that. Yeah, mine's right next to the Xbox, so I knew where it was. It's covered in dust, and plugged it back in. I tell you what,
Have
that
they
game.
added any more channels yet?
There's still 2 channels. I think there's new songs in there because there's like more recent songs into that. Into there's the live and the TV bit. And I didn't do the live bit because the live bit's older. That's what I played the TV bit, which is like a karaoke version of Guitar Hero. And that I played that for probably the best part of an hour. Just like, I don't even know half of the songs. I recognise some of them. I'm just like, yep, okay. This is a cool game. I wasn't even very good at the game. I looked at the list. I was like 7 from 8 out of 8 constantly. I was thinking I'm not very rusty on this game. Not that I was any good, to be fair. But that is a good game. I'm just looking. I've been trying to get Rock Band all week, but it's not at a good price anymore.
I noticed that someone I work with got it for 80 quid on Xbox One about a month ago. It was at Savvy. It was dirt cheap.
There was a thing this week. I think it might have been Xavier. It was something like that, 60 quid for the whole thing with the guitar and the drum kit. And I was like, I would get that if I didn't. I just want the game with the little adapter box for the old.
Well, you don't want yet another set of drums. I've already got 2 sets of drums here.
Exactly. Got a set of drums and got umpteen guitars. I don't want another guitar. I don't want another drum kit, even if it's worth 60. I was like, I don't even want it. Just give me the game.
Well, you buy that set for 60 quid, then give me the drums and the guitar.
Yeah, he's got them to your collection.
Yeah, exactly. I'll pretend I'm in a band then.
Okay.
That's why I have the guitar behind me, because from that angle, you can't quite tell it's a Guitar Hero guitar. People could think I'm a musician.
Yeah, yeah.
So, see, go that way as well. Look, musician. See, no one knows.
Cool.
Makes me look cooler.
If you say so.
I agree. It's hard for me to look cooler, but I think that does just tip me over into the next level of coolness. Just
right, I see. Fair enough then. So yeah, Guitar Hero Live. I do like that game.
There you go. Woolster's just offered you the adapter. He says, I have an adapter available. Offers, please. There you go. So you can offer him 59 quid, and then you're saving £1 on the 60 that you would have paid for it.
But I know it's cheaper anyway. It's cheaper than that anyway, just for the game and the adapter anyway. But I thought if that whole bundle is 60 quid, how much is just the adapter going to be? Turns out that there isn't a deal on that. It's the same price as it would normally be, which is about 50 quid.
Yeah, I know. When the game first came out, and I had to choose between that and Guitar Hero, I know there wasn't much price difference between Guitar Hero with the guitar or Rock Band with the adapter.
Yeah.
So that's why I went for Guitar Hero at the time. But I wish I'd gone for Rock Band.
Apparently, Guitar Hero is apparently the better game of the two.
Yeah, but I want the drums and the singing.
It doesn't bother me that. And the singing's there in Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero's good as a single player, sit down and have a go on it for an hour, but it's not much of a party game, is it? I want to get the whole family around Rock Band and
there is that, yeah.
And have some singing, get a couple of guitars on the go.
Yeah, there is that, but like I say, if you just want to, I just enjoy just quoting the karaoke bit and just whacking out some songs and just, it's very mindless fun. Just
singing until you throw your Captain America shield into the wall.
Exactly.
Why don't we just form a Google Hangouts band where I play the drums from here and you play the guitar from there?
Well, as I keep saying, my plan eventually is to, using my flat roof of my garage, get Beatles Rock Band up there and perform our last ever gig on top of my garage wearing coats doing Beatles Rock Band. I'd like that.
Wearing coats.
Yeah,
all your talk about channels earlier, I forgot to say during our other chat, I was going to make a channel the second I got Pokemon Go and then just vlog about everything, but focus on that at first. And it's got to the point now where it's been a week. I've missed my chance to do it, so I'm back to trying to think of another idea now. Yeah, I don't know why I went to that, but it just came into my head that I was going to say that earlier on.
Wow. I thought that was going somewhere, but then I came up with this idea, and you can find my new channel at.
No, I'm screwed because the idea.
Start that now.
It's been and gone, isn't it?
Oh, it came out in the UK yesterday.
Exactly, I should have done it yesterday.
Well,
Miss a boat.
upload 3 videos and backdate one of them.
Confuse people.
Yeah, exactly.
I could handle that. If I backdated it to Friday, I'd be like, "Hello everyone, it's out. This is how you get it."
Look, my shoe's full of blood. See, that would have been the perfect thing to have on a Pokemon blog.
I mean.
You walking around the park, bleeding to death,
Yeah.
desperate to catch your Pokemon.
When I came in, because I've stained the map with blood, and I think my wife washed it out. I'm not sure. I haven't checked. Presumably, it's not stained dead. A dog would have eaten it, if it, you know. But that would have been a perfect time to just get my phone out and be like, I don't believe this. You know, look at all this blood.
Second phone though, if you're going to record yourself on your phone, I think you probably need that to play Pokemon.
I could have recorded on my iPad.
You're gonna need 2 devices. Then you'll look really cool at the park in your Pokemon shirt.
Yeah.
2-device sheepdog.
You need a GoPro on your head.
Yeah, get a GoPro on your head.
Have you got a GoPro, Kev?
No.
Because that's another thing I wondered about your videos of you wandering around the shop swearing at kids. I just thought, is he holding his phone like that everywhere he goes?
I have a bracket, like a Steadicam bracket thing for my phone, and it sits in there like that with
you're just walking around
with a big
going,
mic with a dead cat thing on it. I'll show you the whole setup when we go to MGPX. But yeah, it's a massive, awesome bit of kit.
I'm not going to walk around with you at MGPX.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the choice. We're going to go out on the town together. Did I say I'm going to Nottingham tomorrow to check out the Mercure and map out where the local gyms and Pokestops are, so that we can plan our attack on the day?
Should we? What we should do is all turn up there the Friday night, take over all the gyms in the city with Pokemon called Go to the Mercure for MGPX tomorrow morning at 1.
I don't think we can have a name quite that long.
We'll have to make sure we've got that.
Do consecutive gyms.
Yeah.
And have the message spread out across.
But yeah, just encourage people to go to the Mercure, and it's the best advertising we could do.
Kind of is, yeah. Yeah.
I'll perhaps get on my Game Boy versions of Pokemon or the DS or whatever it's called and send out my MG UK podcast Pokemon again. No one ever got back to me to say they got one of them off of the trading thing.
No, I never either.
Very sad.
Thinking about that.
I must have sent about 300 of them out into the world.
Well, I've just started playing it again, so maybe I will get one somewhere. Maybe it's just out there in the ether.
I'd like it very much if one of them arrived, just to know that trading thing is real and it wasn't just a big con and there was never any trading going on.
Well, I'm starting to wonder what the professor's doing with all the Pokemon I've been transferring to him. I think
he's building an army.
I think he's grinding them into candy and then giving me one. That's what I've started to say to my mates. Oh yeah, I'm just grinding up some EVs to turn them into more EVs. You know.
You've got the Pokemon hookup. When are they going to let me start trading with you so you can send me your rejects?
Not long, apparently. I was looking into it the other day.
Then I won't have to leave the house at all. If you can, for example, I don't have an EV. Rather than you grinding them into mints, you could send one to old Kev.
See, I'm very disappointed because I was told, depending on what moves they had, that dictated what they evolved into. But that's it. I thought, because I followed that, evolved one of them, and it evolved into what I expected it to. But then the theory hasn't worked on any of the others, so it's a lie, damn it.
You're a lie, damn it. On the subject of MGPX, if you haven't already got your tickets, it's 2 weeks today, unless you're watching this live, in which case it's 2 weeks tomorrow. But if you're listening to the podcast version using your ears, as most of you probably are, it's 2 weeks today at the Mercure Hotel in Nottingham. You can just turn up on the day if you want. We're not going to turn anybody away. Just turn up and watch us do our thing and play some games and have some fun, eat some barbecue food. But if you do want to throw a little bit of money our way in advance, you can do that by buying yourself a ticket at maturegamerpodcast.com/mgpx, or you can give money to charity at justgiving.com/mgpx16. Either way, every pound that goes towards MGPX tickets gets you an entry into the famous MGPX raffle, The star prize of which this year is an Xbox One with a copy of a non-specific shooting game.
You, though, is listening and thinking, I'm not going to Nottingham. You can still enter and buy
I'm
tickets.
talking to Pat at the moment.
Oh, hello.
No, just that person listening. They know who they are. They're listening now. Yeah, you. You can still spend £5,000 on tickets.
There's a £500 ticket on the Indiegogo page. If you want to do a £500 ticket, that's fine.
And you can
You'll
have
probably win then.
tickets. And yeah, and you
I'm
don't-
inclined to say if you buy the £500 ticket, we'll probably fix the draw so that you do win. Just throw that out there.
at least an armband.
Yeah, you'll definitely win something. If you get the £500 ticket, I'll take you out for dinner on the Sunday afternoon. At a restaurant of my choosing. There's a Burger King around the corner. But you get some Kev time. I'll even let you go large on your meal.
Someone said, Stephen Cragg said, could you put the postcode in the chat when you get a chance?
My postcode.
Of the Mercure.
There you go.
Could do if I knew it.
Done it.
Oh, aren't you good? Yeah, I'll check that out tomorrow and report back, and maybe do a little bit of pop vinyl shopping while I'm there, because I like pop vinyls. I haven't got any for a day or so. Well, I got one today, but that's not the point.
Right.
Put them. Look at that shelf.
Yeah, they're just the new ones. Those ones there. They haven't
You
got
know-
them
Oh,
yet.
look at that.
I've heard many reviews for Batman v Superman recently. I listened to the complete guide complete guide to everything. I listened to you and I listened to my friends, and they all said that Batman v Superman was too long a film.
I didn't say that. I said it was good.
Well, okay, you said it was good, but everyone else said it was good, but it was too long. I watched the extended edition the other day and didn't think it was long enough. It was great. Really enjoyed it.
Had you seen the film before?
No.
I think it's a really good film. Is the extended edition out? Or are you using your nefarious means?
No, I've seen it fairly and legally.
I might have to get involved in this because I want to see the extended version. Because it's perhaps saying no, it's not.
It is, and yeah,
alright?
I didn't realise how important Wonder Woman was. I guess really, I thought she was just a cameo, but
No, Wonder Woman's awesome.
she seems good as well. Although they introduced her like she was Catwoman or something. I thought she was a thief at first.
That bit where she comes in full Wonder Woman garb for the first time and they play the music, that's the best moment in any film ever.
Yeah, I was very much like, this is cool. Yeah.
I want that music as my ringtone.
Oh my god.
What?
Just nothing.
There was this whole I'd seen someone tweet that basically Batman and Superman are like, hang on a minute, your mum's name's Martha. That's my mum's name as well. And then they just become best buddies. And
That's awesome.
That was really just like, are you for real? Is that seriously what just made them go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the more you pick it apart, the more you realise it is stupid.
Don't think about it too much.
No, yes, I mean you've got to go into that film going, this is going to be, just switch your brain off and
just enjoy it for what it is.
I definitely enjoyed it for what it was, and I'm not picking it apart in a cynical. I 100% enjoyed that film, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the DC films. Although I'm worried about Suicide Squad because it should be awesome, but I'm slightly worried about it. Something there's a vibe I'm getting from it. Anyway, but one thing that did make me laugh, the Fort Police coming to get me for not liking it. I heard the sirens there. I don't understand why Lois Lane was like, oh, I'm going to take this the spear thing and just chuck it in that random lake water thing that's there.
If she hadn't have done that, Superman wouldn't have had to have rescued her later.
That's what I mean. It was a bit like she just.
Did you not notice that the only purpose for Lois Lane being in the film was so that she could get rescued over and over again?
Yeah.
That's the only reason she was there.
She was, you know, we're thinking it.
No, but she was just like my wife. She would just be like, something will be happening, and she'll think, I'll just irrationally tidy this away here for no reason.
Bearing in mind, it is the only thing that can kill her husband.
Yeah, but the thing was, the whole place is a mess, and she just looks down and thinks, oh, I better tidy that up.
This weapon that's the only thing that can kill the man I love, I'll just leave that there, shall I? No, of course she's going to get rid of it.
She just thought, oh, I'll just irrationally lob it into the water and it'll disappear.
I desperately hoped when they did that in the movie, I was sat there waiting for Aquaman to turn up.
I just thought, because that's
felt
why
like the perfect setup for that.
That's why I picked at it, I think, because in my head I was like, okay, she's throwing it down there thinking it'll just sink to the bottom. but then Aquaman's going to swim up and grab it and step out and he's going to save the day.
Yeah.
And when that didn't happen, but Superman went and got it, I was just like, well, why did she throw it there in the first place, the silly bin, you know?
Yeah, bearing in mind they've cast Aquaman, he's already been in the movie for like a fraction of a second at that point. Why not just make that scene make sense by just bringing the whole Justice League together?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're thinking about it. Wait, I mean, which version did you watch, Sheepdog? You watched the extended. Was it 3 hours long?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the extended version, and
it's worth it though.
It's supposed to explain so much more because there's so much stuff cut out of the actual cinematic.
Oh really?
Version. It's cut to shreds apparently, and it's like I said, this is a 3-hour version. It's supposed to be so much.
Because they even had.
I have it on pre-order on Amazon, so when it turns up,
yeah,
I shall watch it.
In the comics, for the Rebirth and all of that, and you know, the crises that have happened, there's lots of times when Batman's just sat there, you know, twiddling his thumbs, and the Flash appears next to him, going like, "Bruce, it's me!" Oh! And that happened did that happen in the cinematic film? Because it happened in
it wasn't clear whether it really happened or whether Batman was dreaming it.
But
yeah, that's
it's classed as a dream sequence, I think, in the film. But I don't know.
I was a little bit like, hang on a minute, are they already thinking about that sort of thing?
No, that they are going back to because Zack Snyder's basically just hand-picked, cherry-picked, just bits of all different comic books and just gone, wham, chuck them all together and gone, there you go, there's your film. Enjoy that, fans. And it just doesn't make sense, some things.
But if they're not doing some sort of crisis thing, then what are they going to be? I can't imagine where they're going.
Like, it's the thing that confuses me, again, when you start thinking about it too much, is that it's Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Yep.
But the Justice League has never existed.
Yep.
So,
like I said, he has cherry-picked bits and pieces from every single comic book because he's gone, that was a good bit, that was a good bit, that was a good bit. No sense in merging this all together, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that's what he's done, and that's what got people so annoyed with it, because it's just a mash of nonsense.
I hope there's a grand plan for it, and something to do with the Flash and time being fiddled with, and it will turn out that when they do a sort of semi-reboot in 5 years' time and get Ben Affleck out and cast a younger actor, and it all goes back 10 years, and then they do the Justice League properly when they're all starting out, because it doesn't make sense for the Justice League to be starting when Batman's already been doing his thing for 20 years and is ready to retire. So I think there's got to be some kind of... I think the Flash turned up expecting Batman to recognise him, and he didn't, because in his world the Flash has never existed.
Like it's the wrong time, didn't he? So that was the line.
Yeah, so I think we're going back in time at some point. They're going to go all X-Men.
I hope so. What I want to happen, in my head, this is the perfect scenario, is that, yeah, like you've just said, it will go back, but I also think that if they end up doing Infinite Earths and having different Earths, then I want the TV universe to be included in that. Because then I think they've tied it all in perfectly, and DC have been the bigger people, whatever. Because Marvel would do that, they'd make it work. They'd talk to the TV companies and they'd make it work.
It's the same Marvel who've only just got Spider-Man back and still don't have X-Men.
But that's not. They would have made it work, haven't they? That's what I'm saying. That's not their fault. Not their fault. I mean,
the main reason DC can't do it comes down to licensing again, doesn't it? They don't own the Arrowverse.
No, they don't own it, but they own the characters.
Yeah, but they can't take those versions of the
they can't take anything, but they can say to them, we would like to include your your canon in our universe. We want to bring the Arrowverse into the DC verse and make Arrowverse universes 1, 2, and 3, and we'll be universe... What's the one that's Dick Grayson's one? Is it 116 or something like that? Or am I making that up? I can't remember now. But their film verse can be 4 or whatever, and just make it work.
But that's the thing, though. The Arrow people don't want to be associated with the film verse, but because the Arrow verse is a lot better.
Yeah,
they don't want to be dragged down by this thing going associated with this nonsense that's been happening with Batman vs Superman.
Well, I hope then if it all crashes and burns, which I don't think it will. I mean, I think they'll learn a lot and do a good.
I mean, they've veered right off with this film, to be fair.
Yeah.
So you've got to get back on track.
But it can all be explained away nicely if it turns out it never really happened, because they go back and do Flashpoint, and then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's the joy of it being a comic book movie. You can just keep rebooting and resetting and changing time, and none of it ever needs to stay permanent. It can all just go away. You can have a bad movie, and it doesn't really matter because you just delete it from existence. There was with Marvel, there was 2 Hulk films 5 years apart, and only one of them really exists.
I heard that they are considering doing Flashpoint with the TV show Flash. So maybe again they could do that and then tie in the fact that that was the DC verse and then make him fix it and go the DC film never happened, and then let the Arrowverse people make the films. Because again,
should we write a letter?
I don't get why they don't let them. That they're never allowed to do their own Arrowverse versions of Batman and Superman, are they? Apparently.
Well, they won't let them have them. They're the big licenses that are only for movies. That's why Arrow is a cross between Green Arrow and Batman.
Yeah, of course, I get that.
But then they did Smallville, so...
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Is that the same people?
Gotham. Yeah, Smallville was the same people. Gotham's not, but Smallville was.
Gotham's not technically Batman, is it?
Well, it's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
Gotham's not the same
Batman,
people,
there is
it?
no Carol in that program.
Gotham's not the same people, is it?
No.
No. But if Smallville's the same people, which shocks me, then when Superman's in Supergirl next season,
it was the same people, but it wasn't the same universe because they had a different Oliver Queen in it as well, didn't they?
They should ignore that, what you've just said, and bring back Clark Kent from that Tom, whatever his name was, Welling.
Yeah.
He should be Superman in the Supergirl universe because that'd be great. He's done nothing with his life since then.
Make it happen, Sheepdog. Write a letter.
I will.
Good. I watched a film, but I can't remember what it was called. So.
Oh, great.
Describe
a week and a half ago now.
Go on, describe it. Yeah.
Hold on, I'll go back to my last week's notes because I remember thinking, "Oh, that's a film. I can talk about that."
Your last week's notes, I played some games. I read some comics. That's what you said last week.
That's because Sheepdog moaned that I have spoilers. Look, I have pages and pages of notes in Evernote, but it's all spoilers, so I can remember what happens in all the different comics.
Hang on a minute. Was that last week that Kev wrote that? Because on Twitter this week,
it's the same thing. You just copied and pasted.
Oh right, I was going to say.
Well, that's all I really have done. I watched a film called Now You See Me, but now I can't remember. anything about
I like that. Yeah, they're the magicians. That
yes, that was it. With Lex Luthor in it.
Yeah, the new one's out soon.
No,
that's why we watched it. I think because Anna wants to see the new one, so we watched that one, and that was quite good. I enjoyed that, although it was a bit odd as well, and I don't really understand what was going on.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like they were just using their magic tricks to be criminals.
Yeah, magic heists. It was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was going to be any good, and it was.
But then it was quite good having Lex Luthor and the Incredible Hulk in the same film.
And Lois Lane, I think. Is she?
Yeah, that was no. I thought it was her, but apparently it's not. It's her off of Home and Away, who's married to Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh, right.
It was his name. Is it? Yeah, it wasn't Amy Adams, but it looks like her. They might be the same person. We should probably check that out as well.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Yeah, I like that film. You watched anything, Pab?
I've watched 3 films in the 2 weeks that we've
You're gonna get square eyes.
I got Deadpool this week. I rewatched that. That is a genuinely cool film, isn't it?
That is.
I really enjoyed Deadpool.
I need your lot's help with this. I need us to put together a PowerPoint presentation because there's people at work who don't like it, and I'm trying to explain why they're wrong.
Just give them a slap.
I'm not supposed to.
No? Oh, and it's kids.
No, adults, but again, in the teaching profession, slapping your co-workers frowned upon.
Well, if we said that about Deadpool, then you did get a slap.
Maybe they don't like satire.
I don't know. What did they like then? Did they not like superhero films at all?
No, they like some of the other superhero films. They like funny films. Well, I think they went into it expecting a superhero film and got a comedy.
Yeah.
That were just thrown off guard and didn't like it.
Is this your department that doesn't like it?
Part of it. Mm-hmm. Part of it that you might be familiar with. We'll leave it there.
No, I just wondered. I won't be critical. I just was trying to decide what angle they might not like it on.
I think it's genuinely a good film. I want to watch somebody else's.
My logic there is one of them might not have got it, and the other one would have got it, but might not have liked it as a genre. Is what I was thinking. Both in polite ways. Just I don't know. I thought that was just. I went into it thinking this is going to be really wangy humour. It's going to be like when you're sat on the night train home and there's a bunch of drunks next to you, all with their in jokes, going like, "Wee, wazza, not bad, you know," and all this, and you're sat there thinking.
We're not from Essex. We're not familiar with what you're saying.
Well, I went to a wedding, not in Essex, not from anyone from Essex, and the best man speech was just that kind of thing. They were basically he was in a football team. He likes to play pub football or whatever, and so they all had nicknames for each other. And his best man speech was so wangy, and it wasn't funny at all. But they're all creasing up in the.
Who on earth hangs out with people they have nicknames for? A sheepdog, a pub.
Yeah.
So I expected Deadpool to be like that. I was just sat there thinking this is just going to be loads of like, that's funny, isn't it? Like from Deadpool. But no, it was just hilarious and brilliant the whole way through.
Yeah.
And actually seemed like they put some effort into it. The stunts were good. The dialogue was good. You know, Reynolds has basically sorted himself out for life.
With those BT adverts, if nothing else.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Him hanging off a helicopter.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm still expecting someone to sue him for using his Deadpool character in BT adverts, so. Unless his Deadpool character is just him and he's just playing himself in Deadpool. Which I guess he might be.
Yeah.
Perhaps that is just him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Don't surprise me. Yeah, the other film I've watched. I watched Ex Machina. Anyone seen that?
Yeah, but I don't remember anything about it.
No, I can't either.
It's a bit like the AI, the guy.
They're in a house, aren't they?
They're in a house and they're going to a guy gets an invite from like the boss saying, I wanted you to test this AI out and this robot, don't they?
Yeah.
And then he sort of like falls in love with the robot who seems quite realistic. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a weird, interesting.
It is weird, but I remember enjoying it quite a lot.
Yeah. It is really cool. It's like a really cool. There you go, someone in the chat.
And I want that house as well because the house was awesome.
The house is unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, it's got like all like the like. What did it have like a? They took your picture and a card came out with you like a print of your face on it.
It looks like a shed from the front.
Yeah.
And it's like this glorious thing off of Grand Designs.
Yeah, definitely. And it is and then they've got like a couple of robots downstairs.
Yeah, well, everyone has robots downstairs. Where do you think your robots?
But in the attic.
Weird. The North is a weird place.
Yeah. That is a genuinely good film, and it's worth a watch anyway. Definitely worth a watch. The last film I've watched is Edge of Tomorrow. No, any of you seen that one?
Is that the one with The Rock in?
Tom Cruise.
No, I've not seen it then.
Tom Cruise. It's also known as Live, Die, Repeat.
No.
In some places. I don't know.
You made that up.
No, it's basically the premise is Tom Cruise gets like strong-armed into this battle against aliens right at the start of the film, and he gets thrown into this like he's going into war the day after, and basically he's not prepared for this war, and he ends up getting killed on the battlefield immediately. But in doing so, he gets killed with this weird alien, and it like bleeds like this acid sort of blood all over him. And it transfers a power to him, which gives him the power. It basically rewrites the day, so he wakes up like the day before again, and he's got to. He's then. I can't explain it now.
Is it Groundhog Day basically?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit Groundhog Day, yeah.
Does he get further into the war as he goes?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, basically, he's got to find. I think Emily Blunt is the girl in it, yeah, and she had the power previously.
That's rhyming slang in case you wanted to give.
Yeah. And
he's on the hunt for Emily Blunt.
I don't think that's the name in the film, but all right.
That should be Sheepdog. Write that down. We'll write that one.
Yeah, and he has to find her. He finds her, and obviously she knows about the power. So them two have to basically navigate their way through this battlefield and what I mean, get to try and stop this war from basically going on, because basically if they don't stop this from happening, it's going to destroy the world, because you've seen it happen, sort of thing. And it is a really cool film. It's a good action film from Tom Cruise.
I'm impressed that they found a way to do Groundhog Day without it feeling like Because it doesn't sound like, oh, it's just, do you know what I mean?
No, it's a really good film. If it's on streaming somewhere, go and watch it because it is superb. It is a really good action film, and it is, like I say, it's like an action version of Groundhog Day, but like kind of interesting in the same way, with some different concepts about to it, and it's well worth a watch. That's my thumbs up for the week. That one.
Oh,
There you go.
perhaps
Two.
Oh, 2 thumbs. Bloody hell, you should have both in one go.
There you go. That is good.
No thumbs saved for anything else.
That is
Put them away, Pab.
Yeah, they're gone. That's it now. All
You're
films
overdoing
done.
it.
By the way, Pab, have you taken that Spider-Gwen shirt off since you got it?
No, I've put it on fresh tonight. I've lost it again.
I suspect you've just been wearing it the whole time since you
Well,
got
last week, but no one else saw this. I had Captain America on last week.
it. You're not deciding to sport a stylish RoboCop shirt because everyone knows I'm a big RoboCop fan.
Film for me.
Have you, either of you, had a look at Once Upon a Time in the times that I've been talking about it at all?
No, because it's a children's program.
I watched some of the first series and went.
It's really not a kids program. It's that one.
My kids watch it and really like it, so that makes it a kids program.
Yeah, not in the way that like you think Doctor Who. I can give you as like it's a family, children centric, but Once Upon a Time is quite brutal.
Is Rumpelstiltskin in it?
Yeah.
In it
I worry that if I watched it, I'd be constantly thinking they've not done this as well as they did in Fables.
I don't think it's as cool as Fables, if that makes sense.
There you go. Then I'm afraid I'm a cool internet person, therefore I like Fables, not Once Upon a Time.
It's considered PG actually, surprisingly.
I should hope so. My 8-year-old daughter's watched it all,
and
I've started buying her pop vinyls for it.
Yeah, I want pop vinyls from it. They're quite cool characters. What I was going to say is I've been watching it still as usual. It's kind of our binge thing every night. We watch 3 episodes of it at the moment on Netflix.
What, me and you? I don't remember doing that.
Me and Claire.
Okay.
And what I was going to say is midway through season 3, they just, like when I said in Fallout, I was playing a mission and the game pretty much ended, so I just put it aside and said, right, I've completed Fallout, and didn't continue because I didn't feel the need to. Yeah, the show, I texted my friend who told me to watch it and was like, the show just ended. She was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I was on episode 12 of season 3 or whatever it was. And yeah, the whole show just ended. I don't know what happens for the next 3 seasons because it just ended. And she was like, oh yeah, I thought the same thing. Carry on watching it. And it's like, it's really bizarre. They could have just stopped there and the show was completely wrapped up. And it's like, when I'm finished, I'm going to go back and look. But I said to her, surely they must have been told it was being cancelled, or there must have been some reason outside of the show why they did that. But it just seemed like they ended the show and it was jobs are good and all's done. But I really recommend watching it because what it means is this season has had like 3 or 4 episodes that would have been the epic finale for any other show, but apparently the finale of this season is even more epic. So I'm thinking it's really stepped up a notch. It was already good, but apparently it just gets more and more intense, and the ante goes up, and so on and so forth. And yeah, if you're not watching it yet, do it.
Cool.
Okay, I'll do that now.
Yeah.
Did you watch any more Orphan Black, Pub?
No, I've still only watched the first 4 or 5 episodes. I don't know. I find it difficult to get into programs. So I've watched them in like short bursts like that.
Yeah.
So I watch like 2 or 3 at a time, and then I'll just stop, and I find it hard to get back into it. But I do want to go back to watching that. It was genuinely cool when I was watching.
Nice one. I'm
watching-
thinking. Sorry, on.
Go on.
Yeah, you do one.
I just say I keep watching Preacher. No,
I'm falling behind on that
You
now.
caught up. Have you watched 6 or 7?
No, I'm only 3 or 4 episodes in. Probably.
I watched episode 6, and I nearly messaged you saying you need to watch this 6.
Do I?
6.
Because I've fallen out with it a little bit because it's not as good as I was hoping it would be.
It isn't. It genuinely isn't. But 6 starts ramping up. So it's obviously going
right,
like
if you're 6 episodes in, I don't want any spoilers. I just
I'm
want a
7.
direct answer to this question.
Yeah, go on.
Do we meet the Saint of Killers at any point? Yes or no?
No? I'm going to say no because I don't know who that is then.
See, that just makes me sad. Is he hunting God?
No.
I think...
There's
What's he
something
doing
going on.
then? I don't want to know. Don't tell me what he's doing.
Basically, that episode 6 start of that episode 6 is the best thing. This almost as good as like the rocket launcher at this episode 1, where the angels they get hunted by one of the other angels. You know the not the bat. You know what I mean? The military angels that come to look for them. And it's just unbelievable. That scene is just so cool. Like I say, I was watching it and I was in the process of messaging you saying you need to watch this because this is.
I think what I need to do is stop reading the comic while the TV show's on and watch that. Because I'm on to the 4th book of the comic now, and I just need to stop reading it and just forget it exists and then just enjoy the TV show for what it is and then go back to the comic.
I don't know, but I've still only read the first 6 issues and
it's the best thing ever. It's brilliant.
Is this Kin Cannon fella a big part of this?
Like
a part of, who runs like the big like.
He's in it,
factory.
But he's not.
Because it seems like they're focusing on him quite a bit.
He's not particularly major at this stage.
Right, I don't know. There's a part in this. Well, I think 5 maybe. Have you seen the bit where he tells him to do something?
No.
Where he tells that thing that's 5, and 7, 6 sort of.
How many episodes are there in the series?
I don't know. I'd imagine it's 10 or 12. I can't imagine it's a big 20-odd episode series. But yeah, it's cool. It's just not the book. It's just using the premises from the. But it is, like I say, it's doing like a Better Call Saul thing and like a Game of Thrones thing. It sort of ramps up towards the end and just goes.
Okay. I will get caught up on it once we get to the summer holidays. I'll have time.
Yeah.
For that thing, and I'll get caught up on it.
Say that when you watch that episode 6 start, you'll have to message me and say that you, because it is seriously it's an awesome scene. You're like, this is more like what the comic books is. This is more like what you expect. And it goes back down to a slow burn again for the rest of the episode. And
I think the other issue I'm having with the TV show is having Cassidy do his dodgy Irish accent when I'm expecting. Yeah, but I'm expecting him to talk like a Manc, like he does in the other 2 things I've watched him in.
Oh right, yeah. I've been thinking, was he in Emmerdale?
I don't know if he was in Emmerdale, but he was in
looking at him going.
He was in
Emmerdale. I'm sure he was in Emmerdale. I might be wrong.
He was in that other program. This is England, and he's in Misfits. And I really like both of them.
Right.
And he talks in the same voice in both of them. And then in this, he's doing this not quite right Irish accent.
Right. I've not seen him. Like so. Yeah. See, I'm used to accents because I've watched Orphan Black now, and I thought they were Australian. So.
It's because they are Australian.
Yeah. See, I'm used to
characters from a different part of Australia. That's the premise of Orphan Black.
Right. That makes no sense now.
Did I tell you what Orphan Black was about?
Yeah, they're in Australia, and then there's 8 Australian women, and they all look a bit similar, and then they all talk Australian at each other.
Yeah,
that's what it's
about. A kangaroo or a koala or a snake.
Yeah, then they throw.
I just can't remember whether Pab knew why there was more.
Then again,
I'm not that far into it.
With his ute.
Kev, I'm not talking about Orphan Black here. I'm not going to put that on what I'm about to suggest. But now that you've got like the next 5 years off work or whatever it is, maybe we should make you a list of things you need to catch up on, like Flash and Arrow, for example, and Supergirl.
Well, Arrow's already on the list. Flash, I've ordered the Blu-ray, but it doesn't come until September, so I'll be back at work then, because it's not out yet.
Is it not on Sky? Like Sky On Demand or whatever?
Season 1 is, which is why I watched that, but Season 2's not. So Season 2, I guess it'll hit there just before Season 3 comes out, thus not giving me time to watch it.
Because 2 is basically when it all does the whole Earth 2.
Yeah, I'll get caught up-ish on Arrow. The Supergirl Season 1, I think that Blu-ray comes next week or the week after, so that's out first. And then they're basically spacing them out every 2 or 3 weeks over the summer. So I think I'll get Supergirl and Arrow watched before I go back to work, but then Flash doesn't come out until after I'm back at work, so I'll probably not even bother getting it because it will just come on Skybox sets by then, and I'll always be a year behind Flash.
Oh, and Legends of Tomorrow, or did you do that?
I think that might be out before Flash as well. I know I've got all 4 of them ordered. And most of them come during the summer holidays, but Flash isn't until September, which is stupid, because that's the one I want to watch most.
But he's always late, isn't he? That's his thing.
Exactly, that's probably what it is. A release gag.
Yeah.
What else did I was thinking about loads of things. I was like, Kev really needs to get on that.
Yeah. I presume you've not caught up with Outcast. Well, you've not been watching Outcast, have you, Kev?
We almost put it on the other night, but when we watch it, I'm sort of not really watching it because it breaks me.
Yeah.
Because it's just the same, and I don't. It might even be veering off from the comic now. It's so similar that it just breaks me.
We finally found out who the white-haired fella was. He's called Sydney.
Right.
Does that mean anything? Does that mean anything to you?
I already know who he is and what he does.
Yeah, but is it? Yeah, it's the same character.
I can't remember his name, but I know who he is and what he does.
One of the episodes that you haven't watched, I think, is where he finds out that the old woman, that basically they aren't cleansed. The Reverend hasn't been cleansing them. Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to see this old lady who's been part of his church for many years since he cleansed her. And like she's definitely not cleansed because.
Yeah, see, that's in the book. I could show you those pages now.
Because what's he called? Kyle touches her and she starts screaming, and but he flings herself on the floor, and you're like, all right, okay, so it's not right. I feel
like I've watched it.
Yeah.
Because now I've watched bits of it and I know what the characters look and sound like on TV.
Yeah.
I've read the story all the way through the first 20 odd issues or whatever it is. I feel like I've already watched the whole thing. And because someone needs to have a word with Kirkman and tell him to pack this nonsense in, make them different.
Well, I think he's trying to appease to two different audiences, isn't he? In the sense that a lot of people don't read the comics, a lot of people don't watch the thing. And then
read everything he's ever written.
Well, you're not going to watch his programs, are you?
I've really enjoyed his TV program, The Walking Dead.
But how many issues were he into that before they started the program?
Hundreds. Well, not hundreds.
Good few. So
yeah, and he changed it straight away. Brought in different characters, did a different story, and it just sort of.
And it wasn't.
Checked in every now and again.
It was created by committee, that one, though, wasn't it? Walking Dead, in the sense that it wasn't.
At least that way, I was able to enjoy both. Game of Thrones, I've been able to enjoy both because it's not following the book scene for scene, word for word. It needs to be an adaptation for TV, not right. Let's take this panel from the comics and make this a scene in the TV show, then take the next panel and reenact that exactly.
Maybe he wrote the comic like a TV show without.
I think what he's done is he's written it as a screenplay and then
adapted it to be a comic. Yeah.
Which
because
it's really annoying, and I don't like it at all, especially because the comic's ahead of it. If he'd have done that, released the TV show, then brought the comic out a year later, that might have been quite cool. I'll get to go through it again as the comic, but it just feels the wrong way round.
I bet if you did that, the comic would be better for it because of that as well. Because you can change things, and in the comic you can do more in the comic. But like I say, if you're doing it like for like, then something's going to lose out, and it seems like TV show.
I mean, the TV show, Anna really likes the TV show because she's only read the first issue of the comic, but she read that and then watched the first episode of the show, saw they were identical, and chose not to read on any more of the comic, so it didn't spoil the TV show. And I kind of wish I'd done that, but the comic's excellent, and I couldn't stop myself because it's really, really good.
Keep forgetting to check it out. You'll have to remind me. Sorry.
See, I'm going to avoid it. It's on sale on Comixology, I think, isn't it?
Everything on Image is pretty much.
And I was tempted. Yeah, I have as well. I was very tempted. And I thought, it's not worth it.
I'd prefer to read it, I think, because
I've got enough to be reading.
It takes me 5-10 minutes to read a comic, whereas I don't really want to sit there for 45 minutes if it's identical.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I think
I've becoming my preferred way to absorb stories.
I look at it and say I've got far too much to be reading as it is. I'm struggling to keep up with all the Rebirth stuff and everything else. I can't be doing with that as well when I can just sit and just relax.
Wouldn't you rather? I suppose it's when you want to relax, but you're saying I haven't got enough time to read it for 5 minutes, but I'll sit and watch it for 45 minutes.
But that's because I can't.
Passive active,
yeah. Yeah, because to me at times I think comics can be work for me, and it's like something I've got to do to keep up to date. Whereas I just sit back and just watch it in bed, just watching it on my iPad. I find that's the easier way for me. I'd much rather watch something than read it.
On the subject of the Comixology sale, if you haven't checked this out yet, I think it is still running.
No, I think it ends tonight.
It ends tonight, so if you're watching live, get on it right now, because Image have got everything on sale. So every issue of The Walking Dead, every issue of Invincible and Outcast, so all the Kirkman stuff, but also all the Brian K. Vaughan stuff, so Saga, Paper Girls, We Stand on Guard, which I picked up and have read. All the Ed Brubaker
stuff,
I mean, it's all dirt cheap. I've now got in. I had previously read like the first 120 issues of Invincible, but fell off it when it stopped publishing for a little while. But I've now got them stacked up, ready to read as well, because that's the best superhero comic I've ever read. And yeah, it's just Image books plenty.
How often does Saga release? I remember you saying it was sporadic.
It's monthly, but then at the end of every arc, it has sort of 2 or 3 months off. They release the trade and then come back.
Because I'm waiting for that to come back at the moment.
Yeah, it's on a break at the moment. I don't think the trade is out yet. Once the trade's out, the next issue will be shortly after that. But it's usually a 2 or 3 month gap, and it usually, well, the way it has been so far is something. He'll do an arc of something else in between, or most of the arcs at the moment. We've got Paper Girls churning out, so I imagine we'll get nearer to the end of Paper Girls before the next saga comes out.
I'm finding that a bit frustrating because it's not moving massively, Paper Girls, is it? It's like,
I don't know. I think the last issue of that was fantastic.
Is that the one where one of the girls finds out that? Yeah, sorry. How far through that are you, Pab?
I've purchased it this week and read the first issue.
Oh, right, okay.
It really, really picks up at the end of that first arc. I found the first arc hard work, and there was a couple of things that hinted that it might be good, but I wasn't massively sold on it. It was only the fact it was Brian K. Vaughan book made me stick with it. But from the first page of the second arc through this next issue, which I think was issue 7, it has been superb.
Yeah, I just read 7. Then yeah, don't get me wrong, it's really cool. My question, I guess, is more that like the past 2 or 3 comics have been over the space of about half an hour, really, which is good. But at the same time, it's like, God,
you want it to move a bit.
I'm spoilt, I think, in that all the other comics I've read, I've been. I guess I kind of find out with Walking Dead as well. Actually, Walking Dead, I read the most recent one of them the other day, and that was really good. Don't get me wrong.
Wasn't that one of the best issues of The Walking Dead for a long time?
Yeah, that was amazing. But again, I thought he's been having this kind of introduction evening for 3 months now. It was a bit like, right, we saw Negan wander off. We saw him meet the other people. We saw what everyone else did as a reaction to that, and then we've seen him kind of bed in, and then we've seen it this episode. And I was like, comics are crazy for that. I do love, as I say, getting my stories in these nuggets because they're easier to read, they're quicker, and so forth. But when you suddenly assess that 6 months of your life was spent with the girls from Paper Girls barely doing anything, really, and it's still great. I am loving the story.
Well, the whole series so far has all taken place in the same day, I should imagine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, a day hasn't passed in that. We're 7 in, and it's
Which
great.
in real time is over a year, probably, because there was the gap between the first 2 arcs.
And which is insane in my head, because it's like, I think I said this at the time, when I read the Turtles comic, they had their letters in the back of that, and obviously it's the early 80s, and they released the first one as a joke, and then they write in the letters about how crazy everyone went about it. And as you read through them, it's like, I can't understand why anyone read those 4 or whatever and decided it was amazing and then carried on. It's like, so with Paper Girls, yes, it is good. I enjoy reading it, but I don't quite understand how the first arc was popular enough to warrant
because it's got Brian K. Vaughan on the cover, and that's all it needs.
Everyone's got faith; they know it's going to build up.
If that had someone else's name on the cover, I wouldn't have read the second arc because I wasn't at all sold on the first one. But having read 4 or 5 series of his now, I know he'll do something awesome with it, and lo and behold, he did something awesome with it.
Because I did think, even with Saga, I mean, that's what, only 30 or 40 in, is it?
Yeah, that's probably 5 years that's been going.
Yeah, and you kind of think, right, when I started, I was like, it's called Saga, so it's obviously going to go off on this wild, long story. And it will do, I assume, because it's called Saga, and we're 40 in, and it hasn't gone that far. And it implies...
Oh, I don't know, we've gone across the whole universe. Years have passed.
Sorry, okay, so the girl narrates her own life story.
And she's like 7 now.
Hang on a minute, how many issues have there been of this?
40 odd.
Right, I bought the first 30 today for this week, so
Get them ready.
So it's not a spoiler or anything
No,
to
go
show
on.
it, but so I mean when she introduces the first comic, she's like, "That's me," and she's like, "I'm a newborn
Yeah, she's
baby."
talking as an adult looking back, so we know
Yeah.
she survives all the way
But that's
through
what
the
I mean.
story.
So it's like I expected, I guess, in my mind, I was kind of like, "Oh, as I read through this, she's gonna grow up quite quickly and get to the story." But it turns out, no, this is the story, but it's also going to go for her entire life up to that point, and it's like you can already see that this is going to be 400 comics or so, which is amazing. And I know I'll love it when I get to the point where I'm 50 and they release the last ever one where she's just like, and that's my story, and here's me, you know what I mean? I'm going to just be like, oh, I started reading this when I was 30 and blah, blah, blah. And that's how people get with the DC stuff. I was reading people talking about the Rebirth, going like, I'm so glad they've gone back to that story. I've been reading this since all the old stories and so forth, and I'm thinking I can't imagine being like them because I read through them in a weekend. That's decades of someone's life that I've just blitzed through in no time. So yeah, I'm a bit thrown by it all. I just don't. I mean, even Walking Dead, I don't understand how that kept going after a couple of comics because it wasn't. The first few weren't great, were they? They're pretty generic in terms of zombie fare.
Yeah, but zombies were new then. Zombies weren't everywhere.
Yeah, I suppose.
It basically started the zombie craze.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
So while we're on the topic of these image books, before we get into any other comics, I guess we'll cover off some of the other ones that have been popping up over the last couple of weeks. So I did pick up We Stand on Guard
Yes.
in the Comixology sale.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of Brian K. Vaughan, I started reading it when I got home from work today and finished it just before we started recording. I mean, it's just superb.
Yeah.
Just absolutely outstanding.
So cool.
I like the fact as well, even though it was all the way along, it was intended to be a 6-issue standalone miniseries, one arc thing. I like the way they've just left the door slightly ajar for we could do something else in this world. And I'm just a sucker for a story for a little girl in peril. Yeah, I mean, it hit me the way the Telltale Walking Dead, as a parent of girls.
It takes it back to his childhood as a girl.
Exactly. It gets me, and it makes me more invested in it than if it was any other type of story.
I do know what you mean, though. I feel like if I'm living through it thinking about my daughter, I find that more interesting than if I was imagining it was my son or me, because, I don't know, I suppose I probably thought of every possible scenario I could be in, but like you say, knowing you've got a daughter and you care about them, it is interesting. I definitely appreciate what you mean there. Same with Saga. Yeah.
New issue of The Wicked and the Divine came out this week, issue 21 of that. If you've not got on this yet, you need to, because it's brilliant. And I mean, this issue was a little bit odd because it was basically an issue-long battle, which is unusual for The Wicked and the Divine because we haven't had much of that so far. But it really interestingly in this issue, in the notes, rather than doing a letters page at the end, they did some survey results where I think 2 issues ago they had a reader survey that I filled in because I'm a loser, but they published like 6 pages of the survey results, and it's really interesting seeing who reads it, what age they are, what other things they've got going on, what they like, what they don't like. And if you've got no interest in the series at all and have no intention of reading it, just buy it and read the letters page, because it takes longer than the rest of the comic to read, 6 pages of text rather than picture books. But I thought that bit was really interesting and worth the cover price by itself. But the series itself is excellent and building to a crescendo now, I think. I assume this one's going to be wrapping up at some point, probably in the next 6 or 7 issues, because we're getting to that point now, I think, and it's very cool. What else have we got on my 2 weeks worth of notes? I think that's about me, apart from DC Rebirth and Civil War 2. So if anyone's got anything that's not them to throw into the party before we get on to the big boys.
What have I done? I've read this one, Spider-Gwen Annual 1.
Yeah.
It's an annual.
You bagged and boarded like a nerd.
I said they come. I don't do that. I said they come. That's how I order them. And this is just.
I have someone to do that for me.
Yeah. This is basically just like a sort of like a basic, like just just give you a basic explanation of what the character is. Gives you some kind of like sort of a backstory sort of thing to it. I think there's no order to it. There's nothing. It's not part of the actual.
Would it be good to read if you've never read any Spider-Gwen?
I'd say so. Yeah. I'd say so. Yeah, definitely. It just gives you like a. What we're doing that with.
Like, I've still never read any Spider-Gwen, but the character looks so cool.
Yeah.
She does look awesome, doesn't she? I need to.
Yeah. I have got them on Marvel Unlimited ready to read,
that one.
But I wanted to have this pop ready so that I could hold this while I'm reading it.
Yeah, yeah, seriously cool. And like I say, I've read that, and then I got it in my head. I thought, you know what you can do? Because a friend of mine goes about collecting all the Nightwing stuff, and she's a pain in the ass because there's a lot of Nightwing stuff. I went, I could do that with Spider-Gwen. It only started in 2014. I could do this. So I've embarked on collecting everything that is included Spider-Gwen, which includes that Deadpool issue, issue 250 of Deadpool.
There's going to be a TV show about this chapter. Previews
of Marvel previews. Is there? That's in there. Spider-Verse. There you go. Spider-Verse. Amazing Spider-Man. This is going down. I'm going down a rabbit hole. And just literally, that Deadpool comic has literally one little cell of her, and she says 2 words, and that is it. No explanation for her being there. She's just in it, and that is it. And I've got that. That cost a £5.
Wow.
And I'm going down this rabbit hole. There's
well, I think in the vein of this, then, Pab, you've got to get Gwenpool as well, because inspired by Spider-Gwen and all that.
Is there a direct relation?
She wears a pink costume,
but that's
and
not
she's
enough.
called Gwen.
That's not enough.
Yeah, no, it is a parody of Spider-Gwen, isn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't read Spider-Gwen, but I've read Gwenpool.
See, that's relative. Gwenpool's relatively new, isn't it? So
yeah, it's only 4 issues in, I think.
So I can get that out of that really easily.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like Gwenpool. Gwenpool's funny.
I haven't read all of it because I decided I needed to read Deadpool a bit. Did I mention before? I'm sure we talked about this. I've read all of Deadpool Murders the Marvel Universe, which is really cool. I liked it, but actually it was a bit rushed. It's only 4 comics, I think. So it's very much like, oh, I've killed the Avengers, oh, I killed the X-Men, and you're a bit like, okay, I expected there to be a bit more. This is my logic for these people. This is, it was a bit quick, but I didn't realise. Then I went straight into Deadpool versus Deadpool, which I don't think I'm finished. I can't remember now. I might be.
If you are, it clearly left a big mark on you.
No, I can't remember. I must have 1 or 2 left. But no, it's really good. Because he decides, because he realizes there's like a multiverse, and decides that he must be what does he call himself? The protogenitor? Whatever the word he uses is. Does that sound like a right word?
Sounds like a Deadpool word.
But it's like something that he's created the universe. Every universe is created by Deadpool, and so he's going through murdering all the other Deadpools, and there's a big Deadpool war. And I don't think I am finished it. I can't be finished it because it seemed quite epic. But it was awesome. I was just like, that'd be a cool.
Do they all wear different colours? Because I need an explanation for why Forbidden Planet has more Deadpool pop vinyls than anything else. They're all different colours.
Well, there is Kid Pool, Dog Pool, Panda Pool.
Plus, he has worn different colours for different
Yeah,
things.
but there must have been 10 variants of Deadpool.
Yeah, and he's worn all the suits, hasn't he? I think the X-Force one and the
X-Force one's pretty cool. I have my X-Force Q-Fig behind me there.
Yeah. I mean, they've got X-Force. I mean, I'm sure he's been in the X-Men. That's why he's got a blue suit at some point, hasn't he?
Probably.
I think that's to do with X-Men as well. I might be wrong, but it wouldn't surprise me if he.
There was a purple one as well, which I thought looked quite cool. I don't know what that was for. I just wondered whether that might be why there was a purple Deadpool that I almost bought, but then I realised I don't have any other Deadpool pops, so don't buy a purple one as your first one. You lunatic.
Yeah. But I was impressed about how many variants of Deadpool they could have, and I think it's like Spider-Paul, and they're Infinite. If you can think of it, it existed because it's the Infinite Universes. But they were really cool. And then I was flicking through comics in general, trying to find something new the other day, even though I'm spoilt for choice and I had so many different things going on. And I came across Stargate Atlantis Season 6 has just started 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Yeah. So the show ended at the end of Season 5 about a decade back. And I don't know why, but out of the blue, they've just decided to make a comic that follows on from the final scene of the last episode.
Really?
And just create, go on from there. And I texted my mate, and my mate was just like, oh, "This is the best thing, best news ever." I'm amazed, and he's gone off to get them himself. And I'm 2 in, and it just seems like they're kicking off that whole universe of Stargate-ness again. And yeah, we both agreed. I hope this is successful, and they do a Stargate Universe one, because both of those shows could have gone on for another 6+ years like Stargate SG-1 did. I mean, that was a bit played out in a way, I guess, because they succeeded in their whole story. But yeah, these two had loads of mileage left in them, and they've just brought out a comic for it, and I love that. Already that I read the Buffy. They've done Buffy season 8, 9, 10, and 11, and that show just hasn't ended off the back of this, and that's really good. I'm chuffed to bits that Stargate Atlantis is back. That was cancelled on my birthday, and I remember being I woke up, saw that news, and was like, "Well, this sucks." So I'm loving the fact that in the same week as Pokemon Go coming out, I've got Stargate Atlantis back.
It's like you're a teenager again.
I'm wondering if I'm in a coma. I'm wondering whether I died on the operating table when they were taking.
You lost too much blood out of your foot. You were not on the operating table for a toenail, surely.
Yeah, I was laying on
put you on a footstool like Evan Clark.
Yeah.
I was laying on one of those. I can't remember what they're called. They're not beds.
The floor.
Yeah, they have them in the doctors.
Lie on
they
the
have
floor,
them in the doctors, don't they?
You lay on that.
You lay on that tissue
lunch.
crepe paper that they have there, and then they just. Last time I had it done, I was actually in a hospital on a bed, and they put stuff over me, and I couldn't.
How many times have you had your toenail removed?
Too many times to count. But this time, I might have just been leaning over him, going, "All right," and he's burning away at it with chemicals. And stuff.
An alternative to this is just cutting them occasionally. Then you don't have to have pulled off by pliers when they get too long.
No, I just had well, he did. It was the other foot before, anyway. But yeah, it was really bizarre. I've never been this laid back in the times I've gone for these minor little procedures. This was literally the guy just sat there chatting to me about his son while he just ripped my nail out. It was like, ouch.
Yeah.
I had painkillers on. It was all right. But
would it hurt if I stood on your foot now?
Do you know what? I don't think it would, because the nurse accidentally pretty much thumped it while she was taking the bandage off. It couldn't hurt.
Where are you going to get this done?
I reacted. I thought it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. And she looked at me and I was like, "Yeah, I saw you hitting it and reacted," and then went, "That doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all." And she just sort of laughed at me because I had started yelling. Yeah, didn't matter at all. Where was I going with this? I can't even remember.
Nobody knows.
Oh yeah, I'm having a really good week of stuff just coming out or happening. I mean, I got some ridiculous stuff happening at work this week that was just like, this can't be happening. This is surreal. I might buy a lottery ticket tomorrow and see what happens.
Buy me one as well.
And then if I buy two and your one wins, I'll feel,
You'll still get your 10%.
I feel bad for Nick.
Or just don't tell me which one's mine until afterwards. Buy two, and then, this one, sorry, Kev, it was my one that won. Here's your 10%. There was your losing ticket. See?
Seems fair.
Wait, that's how I'd play it. Right, let's get into the big boys then. Yeah. Marvel first, because Civil War 2 is awesome. I'm really, really, really enjoying it. I wasn't expecting to. But issue 3 of that came out this week, and it's a really cleverly put together issue because it's just a trial of a major character for the murder of another major character, who we don't previously know has been killed, and then they just keep sort of flashing back as evidence is being given by different characters in the trial to what happened, and it just sort of tells the whole story of this incident that's happened, all because of something that Ulysses has predicted. And I really like where they're going with this, because by the end of this issue, we obviously see that another major character has died, which is going to have massive ramifications for the whole Marvel universe. But also, as a result of this, whereas before when we've had people dying because of this, because of Ulysses, and obviously Captain Marvel doing her thing and Iron Man opposing her, everyone sort of picked their side previously. But as a result of this, people are starting to question their decisions. You're getting some odd decisions, and like you've got Miss Marvel's now starting to question whether she wants to hang out with Captain Marvel anymore, and a few of the other ones are starting to drift across different sides and agree with different people. You can see how it's building up towards something rather interesting happening, and they're killing off a lot of their characters as part of this story. It's a 7 issues. It's going to be a 7-issue series. We're now 3 issues into it. They released the new previews this week for the October stuff. That is going to be the new Marvel now after Civil War 2, and there's a whole load of new characters. I mean, don't read that if you don't want spoilers, because that's going to indicate a few more of these who are going to get killed off yet, presumably. But there's where they've obviously had such success with having the new Thor, the new Miss Marvel, whoever else they've had, they're having a lot of new news, and it's all looking very exciting, building up to what's probably going to be quite a big relaunch, October, November time, which I'm very much looking forward to.
They're replacing a lot of characters with women now, aren't they? Which is no problem for me, but I've seen people get a bit like, oh, what's in the news that Iron Man.
We've met the new War Machine this week, who's a teenage girl.
Is that when they say, oh, Iron Man's going to be a woman? Is that War Machine?
Yeah, she could end up being Iron Man. Yeah, who knows? But War Machine is now a teenage girl. She's not even officially War Machine yet, but she's wearing the suit.
I think she's the one who was all over Time magazine as the new Iron Woman.
Yeah, because she's a black girl.
Yeah.
Which is headline worthy.
It's funny because people were just like, whoa, and I thought, well, because Iron Man's probably 80 in this version of the comics or something, The comics, yeah, they need to do stuff like that. It's like when they go, oh, Batman's dead, and you're like, again, really? Because of you, sir, and Pavlova, I went and made sure I covered off every single Rebirth comic.
Good.
And then today, bloody Pab tells me that there's a second Green Lantern and a second Flash, and so I had to go and find all them frantically about 3 hours ago and read them all. But I'm loving it. They're well good, and I didn't really. I've accidentally been teaching myself about the DC universe over a lot of time. I guess reading all the crises and whatnot, but I'd never really known anything about Green Lantern before recently, and I read all of those comics and was just understanding it. It was all fine, I like it, and this is awesome. I'm loving it, and I'm loving.
It has been excellent.
Yeah, I'm loving following Wally.
I love the fact that we're getting new books still coming out now, and we've still got another 6 weeks of issue 1s coming out. Yeah. Various things. It's all very cool. I am getting to the point where I'm having to start deciding which ones I'm going to drop, because when Wednesday rolls around each week and the bill to Comixology keeps going up each week because I've got all these on subscription, and then I've got 15 comics appear on my comic, and I'm thinking, can't be doing this. So I have prepared a statement. Well, no, I've got a list of all of the comics from the last 2 weeks. So, because of the way they're coming out 2 weekly, that's going to be the whole Rebirth line as it stands right now. And I'm starting to decide which ones I'm keeping and which ones I'm dropping. So I'm going to race through these very quickly, jump in if there's any you particularly want to talk about. But starting from last week, we obviously had Justice League Rebirth, which was the big new one last week. Which
I did read that.
I didn't really get, because it doesn't seem to be fitting in with the timeline of anything else that's going on. I thought that. We have the Justice League with obviously Superman is dead, and the new Superman's trying to be part of it, but he's got his own stuff going on. And then you've got the Green Lanterns who come and join him with the Justice League. But then when you get onto the Green Lanterns book, they've got their own stuff going on. So I can't work out when this is happening. And it's basically just a big fight against a big monster. And as much as I like the Justice League, and I've really enjoyed the Justice League New 52 run, it hasn't sold itself to me yet. I'll get the next issue, but at the moment, I've not hit subscribe on that one because I didn't really get what was going on. It didn't make sense to me.
I was confused about. I wanted to ask you what's happening with Superman, really, because I get that. Right, I understand this right? Normal Superman this is Earth 1, yeah?
We don't know.
Okay, it's Earth.
Dr. Manhattan will let us know at some point, presumably.
Yeah, it's our Batman, I think.
At the moment we've still got the New 52 Batman. It's not clear whether that's the same Batman who existed pre-Flashpoint, because apparently there's two Supermans. Because we've got the New 52 one who's now dead, but he's been replaced by the one who was hanging out before Flashpoint. Now, as far as we should be aware, they're the same world. But we have two different versions of Superman in it. So none of that's really very clear at the moment until we get goodness knows what. I guess once they've finished rebirthing everything, they'll do a big event that starts to explain all of that, probably next summer now, knowing how these things work.
Because it seems like they're saying that Clark Kent, vanilla Superman of that world, died, but we don't know how, presumably?
No, we know how Superman died. He died in a battle. At the end of the Superman New 52 run, he died.
Yeah. This Superman, did we know he was there?
Yep.
Right.
But he wasn't being Superman. He was just hanging out with Lois and the kid.
The black suit one.
Yeah. Who's now put the blue suit back on again. Yeah. But we've now had another Clark Kent re-emerge.
Yeah, it's getting a bit confusing.
Who swears blind he's not Superman.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, that's all a bit confusing. But I really like it.
Yeah, definitely.
And jumping about a little bit, really liked the Superman stuff that went on this week that we'll get to in a minute. Batman. No, the new Superman. If you've not read that, the Chinese Superman.
No, I've not got that one.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that was one of the best things I read this week. We'll talk about it now. New Superman. Where is it on my notes? So it's basically a Chinese schoolboy who's a bit of a bully, bit of a plonker, but he's selected to be given Superman's powers because the Chinese government have worked out how to do it. They've manufactured Superman powers, so they've given them to this boy. It's got an awesome last page reveal that I won't spoil. Just go and read it and enjoy the last page because it's awesome. And it's just something a little bit different. I like the tone of it, and there's going to be some interesting stuff going on in the Superman books, I think, and this is going to be a major part of it, and it was very, very cool. So that one did get an instant subscribe from old Kev. The Superman book itself, though, I'm still not sold on. With Superboy, I'll give it a couple more issues because I like what's going on in all the other Superman stuff, but the actual Superman book I'm still not really enjoying. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it.
I'll keep the stuff with Sam.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
I'm interested in him passing on the baton.
I'm not sure if I like it. Batman issue 2 I think was much better than the first couple had been. It's getting more Tom King-y, so there's a few sort of funny bits dropping in here and there. It's interesting to see where they're going and what they're up to. Gotham and Gotham Girl apparently are goodies at the moment. That wasn't clear from the previous couple of issues whether they were going to be goodies or baddies. It looks like they're goodies and being brought into the wider Bat family. Not sure about them as characters. They're a bit vanilla at the moment, so I'm assuming they've got a big heel turn coming, and that's why they're being so vanilla at the moment. They're going to turn out to be the big bad.
Were they characters beforehand?
No, they just sort of appeared.
Right, okay, that's weird. I never knew that.
Yeah, they're new now, and it's not really explained who they are, where they come from, but it is interesting that we've obviously now seen in an issue in the new Superman issue from the week later that it's now possible to give someone Superman's powers. So whether that ties in there somewhere.
Hang on, whoa, roll that back. You can give someone.
Yeah, in New Superman, the way it's worked, this Chinese schoolboy has been given Superman's powers. So I wonder if not only have the Chinese government figured it out, perhaps someone in America has figured it out as well, and that's where Gotham and Gotham Girl come from.
Is that why? Is that why the Clark Kent hasn't got the powers?
Could be.
That's just
like a failed clone or something.
Yeah, but I wonder if they are sewing this
in to
tie it all in together at some point.
That kind of makes a little bit of sense. Probably wrong now, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean it's possibly hinting towards maybe doing something along those lines. Aquaman issue 2, I'm done.
Yeah.
I still don't get it. I mean, it's perfectly well written. It's perfectly pretty, but I don't know anything about Aquaman. I've never really read it before. I only know him from the Justice League. I don't know these characters. I don't care about them. It's not making any attempt to be new reader friendly and explain anything to me. So this is one that I can gladly drop, not worry about, and save £2 every couple of weeks.
So yeah, I was similar. I wasn't sure on it. It's better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, it seems like a perfectly good book, but it's not what I don't feel like I need it to enjoy everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
And while I'm actively looking for some to drop, this seems like an easy one to just give up on.
I don't really get where. I mean, I guess you don't know the answer, but I'm assuming that carries on. Is that carrying on from an old New 52 storyline? It was just kind of like he's saying everyone thinks I'm crap, and somebody's narrating everyone thinks Aquaman's crap, but he does a lot of work. He's a really cool hero. Look at him now, he's doing this, and it's just like someone's deciding they want to destroy it, they want to nuke the land, and it's like, I don't care.
No, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So
I will keep it going. So
that's because you've got a signed copy of it, so you have to.
It doesn't matter. I've got a signed Rebirth. Doesn't mean I have to carry on downloading digitally. I will keep you updated though, because I just don't plan on getting rid of it just yet. So.
Yeah, if it starts to get good, I'll jump back on. But
yeah,
I needed to drop something. That seemed like an easy one.
Wonder Woman made me kind of unsure because I was all on. Oh yeah, Wonder Woman's great when I was watching the film, and then when her rebirth was kind of. There's so many versions of me, and I don't know which one's the real one. And I was a bit like, I don't know.
I loved all that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I thought, because we've had 5 years of Wonder Woman's origin being wrong, and I also enjoy the fact that we had the Earth 1 Wonder Woman with a different wrong origin. So it's having 2 wrong Wonder Woman origins fresh in my mind made all that make loads of sense, and it seemed.
I guess to me the comic just seemed a bit. Nothing happened.
But she seems to be like one of the only characters outside of Wally who is acknowledging the fact that something's not right.
Yeah.
So that suggests we're going to get major story developments with her because
I'm going to keep on with it because of that. But I felt a bit like it was just a bit disjointed and a bit. Everyone else just cracked on with why they're awesome and what their stories are. She was very much like, "What the hell's going on? I've got 5 origin stories in my head." And no, I don't know. I just felt like I was getting a recap of all of that, which I suppose is useful. But speaking of Wally, I read The Flash and then went to the Titans to follow him, and I like the Titans there. I tried to look at what some of their older comics to check them out, but I think I'd prefer it just following from this storyline. I don't think just seeing Wonder Girl and
we are getting a new Teen Titans as well next month, I think, which is going to be Damien and the next younger generation of all of them again.
Really?
So we're going to have Titans and Teen Titans going on at the same time. Which is going to be interesting. Green Lanterns issue 2 was basically a story about Jessica, who is comfortably the best of the two, and they can just bin the other guy off completely.
The other guy's a bit of a wang.
But I thought it was fantastic. It just added more confusion about I don't get what was going on in Justice League. I don't think that book needed to come out now.
No.
I think they probably could have waited a month or 6 weeks, let the first arc of all these other books get out the way, and then bring them all together for some reason, because it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they could have waited 5 years. It seems like they're going, oh, look, it's the new... Well, I read that, and then read the Green Lanterns. So I'm like, oh, look, it's the new Green Lanterns. And then I read Green Lanterns Rebirth, and they were like, we're the new Green Lanterns. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, have some communication. These books came out on the same day.
Being confused as well, before I read Justice League and Green Lantern's Rebirth, I read Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns Corps Rebirth.
Which came out a week later.
Yeah, and so I was like, right, Green Lantern Rebirth, interesting. He's forging something out in space on his own, blah blah blah. Hang on a minute, there's another Green Lantern Rebirth after the Justice League when 2 more turned up, and I was just like, what the hell's going on? So
what I've written down for the Hal Jordan one is, and I will quote myself: "No idea what's going on. Not sure I care. Do I need to read this to keep enjoying Green Lanterns, which has been awesome? Hopefully not. I've never liked Hal Jordan, and I don't care about him, and hopefully he just stays out in space being boring, and the Green Lanterns that we've got, the new ones, can stay on Earth and be in the Justice League, and I don't need to know that Hal Jordan exists, because that whole issue did nothing for me. I don't know what was going on."
It made me think that what the new Green Lanterns are doing is probably child's play compared to the bigger stuff that Hal Jordan's handling. The Sinestro's usually the big naughty one, isn't he?
Yeah, but I just don't like boring Hal Jordan being repetitive. Dave, get down, you simpleton. Green Arrow was just awesome. It was, we obviously at the end of issue 1, Ollie was left for dead, so we get him nursed back to health, and as he's being nursed back to health, he's managed to lose everything by mysterious circumstances. So he doesn't have a home, he doesn't have any money, everyone thinks he's dead. His sister's turned on him, or his daughter, or whatever she is. I don't really know who Edenco is. Is it his sister?
Yeah.
The art style is still brilliant. I hit the subscribe button on it. It's just very cool, and still one of my favourite of the Rebirth ones. Bearing in mind I didn't really read much of the New 52 Green Arrow stuff because it troubled me when it started to copy the TV show too much and bring in people like Diggle. I noticed Diggle reared his head in this one. What are you doing here, Diggle? You were supposed to just be a TV creation that they shoehorned into New 52. You're a proper character now, are you? Brilliant. And you apparently hate Ollie. I don't know how that happened because I haven't read you for 3 years. But hello, Diggle. How's it hanging? Got you as a pop. And then we got on to this week, and we got Nightwing Rebirth.
Yep.
So
mine's still not right. Mine got dispatched today, so you'll find out my thoughts next week.
This made me want to go and read the Grayson run, which I haven't read any of, because it was basically him finishing off being Grayson the spy and coming back to being Nightwing again, being rebirthed, as you will. And I just thought it was really cool.
Which comic was it where he was running around after his son?
What?
Was it? It might have been Final Crisis or Flashpoint. There was something, right, where he.
Oh, what, Nightwing running around after his son?
Yeah, sorry, Nightwing was trying to get his son onto a ship or save him, and then his son's ship blew up.
It was one of the Crisis books.
Yeah, because it was like he was insistent on his son being alive, and he was going to find him.
Yeah, he was Dick Grayson in that, wasn't he? He wasn't Nightwing, I don't think.
Yeah, and so I assume he must have found him as Dick Grayson in the middle, or was that all forgotten? Because I was under the assumption
this is a different version of Dick Grayson. I think this is back to because that one in whatever book that was, Infinite Crisis maybe. Possibly. He'd never been Robin. He'd never been Nightwing. He was just a fella called Dick Grayson who was a photographer or something, wasn't he, or a journalist?
Oh yeah.
Who'd come from a different Earth and then became awesome once this all happened. But he was just a chap called Dick Grayson who happened to get mixed up in it all. This is Nightwing, who used to be Robin, and it's tying back into the Court of Owls story from the start of Batman in the New 52, which I don't know how, because I dropped off of Batman like 30 issues in, and I've now bought them and starting to work back through them again. I don't know if this ever went any further, but basically the Court of Owls story in Batman was that there's this baddie called the Talon who Nightwing was, Dick Grayson was supposed to be this big baddie. He was selected as a child, but then when his parents died, Batman took him in, made him Robin, and then he became a goodie. But this Nightwing issue seems to be about the Court of Owls trying to get back in and say, actually, we invested in you, you're ours, we're having you. And that seems to be what Nightwing's going to be busying himself doing, battling the Court of Owls, which is good because the Court of Owls are awesome. Or they're the Parliament of Owls now, I think they're called.
Oh.
They're not in Gotham anymore.
Where else were they mentioned? I'm sure I saw them in another comic somewhere.
Well, they were in Batman a lot early on in the New
Yeah,
52.
but I didn't read that, so I'm thinking, why was I aware of them?
They've probably been around.
At first, I thought they'd been in Watchmen, and I was confused, but I think I just got more.
I don't think so. The Flash #2 was out this week. Barry's got a new partner, and there's going to be lots of new Flashes or lots of new about. So we're potentially going to be in a world where we've got loads of Supermen and loads of Speedsters, which it's all leading up to a whole collapsing of the universe. It just feels like the end times are approaching.
What are they going to call this one? Crisis?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll figure something out. So that's interesting, but that one with the stuff that's going on in Superman, it just feels like they're almost planning something Marvel style maybe, where we're going to have 30 different choices to be the new Flash. We're going to have 30 different choices to be the new Superman, and it won't necessarily be Barry Allen and Clark Kent or whatever combination it is.
And you've also got the Detective Comics where they're sort of building a Bat army.
Yeah, a whole Bat family that doesn't involve a Robin.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
And there'll be a few more thrown into the mix as time, because I don't think Harper's involved in that at the moment, is she? Presumably Harper's going to turn up at some point if she's not in there yet, because she was knocking about in the New 52, having been in Dark Knight Returns, maybe? Was she in that?
Not a clue.
The girl Robin from many years ago.
I'm nodding and shaking. I haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, there's more to turn up in that yet.
Is there?
Who would want, like, just go back to your point about it won't just necessarily be Barry or Clark or Bruce as each of the characters. If they start bringing out 101 arrows because the Green Arrow's dead and that kind of thing, who on earth would want it to not be Barry Allen and
kids or new readers? It's all about, and it's if you imagine yourself, I mean, it gets back to the whole War Machine being a black teenage girl. If you're a black teenage girl, there's finally a comic book character you can relate to. So it's just stopping all the superheroes being white men.
Yeah, they're a new Wally West.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we've got two of them knocking about in the same universe.
That confused me in this week's. So I was like, that's right. Yeah.
Why not? I mean, I get that. That makes sense, and I like the fact that they legitimately replaced Thor with a woman. They legitimately replaced Iron Man with a woman, and it just seems an odd. If they go down that route now, and they just say, right, everyone's been struck by the Speed Force. They've all got speed, and potentially there could be another Flash. I mean, it seems a bit odd. I don't know. It just seems like we've just got Barry Allen back.
Well, Barry Allen's been back for 6 years.
But he's back in this universe now, and he's fixed the issues that he had with Flashpoint and so forth. He's straightened it all out now. It might not have even been his fault, but it's all straightened out now.
I don't expect any of the existing ones to disappear necessarily, but I know you might get a new Kid Flash who's a girl, for example.
Yeah, because I can't imagine them all being.
They won't.
They will either die off or they will lose the powers at some point. I reckon they can't be because I mean, it's a bit of a spoil, but there's like 15 of them at the end of that, isn't there?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I'd quite like to see some more diversity in the DC universe.
Well, Green Lantern's also done it, haven't they? They've got Red Lanterns.
Yes, yeah. So the universe is expanding massively. Where did we get to? Action Comics was just a big fight between Superman and Doomsday with Clark Kent, and
it's just
I've written down, and I don't remember what made me think it, but I've written down a slight hint that the previous Superman may have separated himself from Kent somehow. I felt that it hinted at that somewhere in there, and I don't remember where it hinted.
I can't recall that. I read it yesterday. I can't recall
reading between the lines, it's perhaps because of everything I'd read leading up to it, but the way this Clark Kent was insistent that he wasn't Superman, but wasn't saying, I've never been Superman.
Yeah.
It was almost like I'm not Superman anymore. type deal.
Like he was hit so hard by Doomsday that he split to two people. One died, the other just disappeared.
I don't know. They're sowing seeds, and I likes it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But I mean, bottom line, DC Rebirth has been incredibly well written for us to have had. I mean, there must be 12 DC Rebirth books on the go now, with more to come. And there's only really one or two duds in there.
I just remembered another Superman-related question. The new Superman puts his hand on Superman's grave, and it glows blue where his hand was. What was that all about? Any ideas? Do you remember that happening?
Nope.
Vaguely remember it happening.
Yeah, I was just like, hang on a minute. He was just like, oh, I guess there's more to this. He says something really off the cuff, and then just goes about his merry way. And I thought, hang on a minute, if you go to somebody's grave, he's been insisting we'll come back, and someone else has been insisting he won't, and then you put your hand down on the dirt, and then it glows blue where you left your hand. Surely you've done something there. You can't just ignore that. Surely that's a pivotal point.
It all makes me wonder how long they're going to string the whole Watchmen thing out for, because they've done that one little bit in the DC Universe Rebirth issue, but everything since then seems to be building up to something different.
There was another thing I was reading where they had a scene, and it split away to just a load of clocks with the time on. I think it was Batman. I'm sure it was Alfred was talking, and there was a clock in that, and it kept. There was lots of little bits I kept seeing where I was thinking that's a Watchmen reference. One of them called Rorschach.
Yeah.
Rorschach. Yeah.
Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Test. That's why it's Rorschach test.
Well, in the Arrow one, I got confused because she was describing the boat in the episode 2, and she randomly went, it's made of Rorschach. I just thought, hang on a minute, what? The Watchman? And it might have been a similar looking word, but to me it read like a bit like...
No, it was the same word, yeah.
Yeah, it was like they were just dropping in again another... Remember the Watchmen! Remember the Watchmen! Just, because they could have said it was made out of anything. They just
the rascals are up to no good.
It's funny, isn't it?
But it feels like there's a grand plan and they're working towards something.
And that's it. That's all you want, really, and that's all you need.
And every new issue that's coming out is building up towards it, apart from Aquaman, which is why
what's that going to? Like, where's that gonna? Is there gonna be a Rebirth 2 comic at some point?
I assume so. They've got to get all the new. They've got to get them all out yet. We've still got Harley Quinn. We've still got Suicide Squad. We've still got Deathstroke Rebirth. There's going to be
the Red Hood one, isn't
there? There's still. There must. We're probably
still on
figures.
pre-order. I've still got
double figures of Rebirth books still to come.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So that's the Rebirth event is going to be going on till at least the end of September, probably.
So you think they'll do a DC Universe comic episode 2?
Where else are they going to carry this story on? They're going to have to put it in somewhere, aren't they?
Yeah, there'll be an event book at some point when they decide to carry. The same way we've got the Civil War 2 book going on with Marvel. It's just a 7-issue miniseries.
Oh yeah,
they'll do a book for the main story to go into, and everything else will tie into it.
Because I've been avoiding all. I haven't read the latest Civil War, but I've been avoiding all the other ones because I don't want to end up spending a fortune on.
Yeah, I started the Spider-Man one and it didn't seem to tie in, so I didn't get the second issue of that. I've been reading the X-Men tie-in, which is quite good. But I've not read any of the others.
Civil War to see if I was typing in to see if 3 was out, and it was coming up with Spider-Man Civil War, Hulk, and I was thinking, I'm not touching any because you're going to.
They'll all be on Marvel Unlimited in 6 months.
Yeah, I'm barely going to be threaded to it, but now I seem to be doing it with Rebirth because I type in Rebirth and then I'm like bang, 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 and not all of them are going to be 100% connected, like we said with Aquaman. Like, there was no reference to anything there, but because I had Rebirth in the title, I just felt like I needed to read it. I
still need to. I mean, I said I'd work through the list and pick the ones I was going to drop. I've picked 1 out of 12. I need to.
And you always said you were going to get rid of Aquaman anyway, didn't you?
Because I mean these.
But even then, if one of us says to you, Aquaman comic 4 was good, you're going to read 1, 2, 3, 4. If they mention the comedian in passing.
12 books that are. I mean, 8 of them are fortnightly. So that 12 books becomes 20 books a month, just on DC.
Yep.
That's as many books as I was getting in total before DC Rebirth.
Feels a bit scary how deep we've got into this.
They've almost doubled my pull list with Rebirth at the moment.
Yeah.
And my little manageable, I get 4 or 5 books a week habit that I had has been, right, Wednesday and Thursday night now, I'm reading comics so that I'm ready to talk about them on Friday.
Yeah, I've been a mad scramble.
I went to bed early yesterday and like 9:30 I'm talking and sat up there till midnight reading comics, and my wife came like, I thought you were going to sleep, and I was like, well, I was, but then I realised I had a lot of comics to read.
Yeah. And then you see why I don't read Outcast and watch the TV program instead. I've got so much to read.
If someone said to me that once upon a time there was a similar case where I could just read it all in one go and not watch the program, I'd probably do it if it was identical. Because
Wikipedia's a thing. You could just read that.
I've done that with a show before.
You've watched the ends of games on YouTube as well. It's all the same. Right, are we about ready to wrap up? Has anyone got any more?
Yeah, oddly, my wife's not back from a night out. I'm rather concerned.
She perhaps met a new fella.
Maybe. I hope she's happy.
Someone who doesn't bleed into his shoes because he's catching Pokemon. Right, well, we will close out by reminding everybody to not forget that MGPX, that's what it's called, takes place in 2 weeks' time. It's at the Mercure Hotel in Nottingham. Just come to Nottingham and get stuck in. If you want to buy tickets, crack in. We've paid for the event now, though. We don't need any more money. It'd be nice if you gave us some, but if you're worried, I can't really afford it, who cares? Just come. At this point, the event is paid for. So fill your boots. If you want to give some money to charity, do that. If you want to win an Xbox, throw some more money our way, whatever. But don't not come because you don't want to feel cheap by not buying a ticket. Don't worry about it. Just
on the door.
We want a full room now, because that would be awesome. So if you do want to get involved and buy a ticket to have a chance of winning the Xbox and all the other awesome goodies that we've got, you can do that in one of 2 ways. If you want to line our pockets, you can do that at maturegamerpodcast.com/mgpx. If you want to line a charity's pockets, you can do it at justgiving.com/mgpx16. Either way, each pound that goes into the pot gets you an entry into the raffle, the start prize, which is an Xbox One with a copy of some shooter that you might have heard of.
Division.
Yeah, whatever. That's the one with Tyrion in, isn't it?
If you want.
It was funny when we started this, but now we're just belittling our star prize.
No, the star prize is the Xbox. It comes with a game that you can trade in and get a better one if you want.
Division's good. Just ignore Kev. He's not played it.
I have played it.
You have not played the Division.
Well, I've watched Anna play it.
There you go, see. And Anna likes it, so there you go. That's me and Anna, the people who play games, have given it an endorsement, so there you go.
Did you know that you can follow us on Twitter at MGUK Podcast, or you can follow me at Lelujo?
And I'm at RB6K.
And I'm at Pab1986.
You can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/MatureGamerPodcast, or get involved in the YouTube channel at youtube.com/MatureGamerPodcast. If you are watching this on YouTube, either live or on one of the replays later on in the week, make sure you pop a like on there, subscribe to the channel as well, and check out some of the other channels that we've got going on. Lelujo FM, Never Too Old, and you know, these two might have some other stuff that you want to see as well, but just check out my other channels, because you can watch me playing Football Manager and or putting pop vinyls on a turntable. See, that's a sales pitch and a half there, isn't it? Turntable, it's a velvet turntable. It's a good turntable. 2 weeks till MGPX. See you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Bye bye.
We should really set a plan up for MGPX, Kev.
Nah, it'll be fine.